the people that are messaging Matt are saying Darude Sandstorm also. Why can't I find realgamerscore.com on Twitter? And Matt is going to be like, Cameron.
Hi guys, I'm Cameron, and this is episode 129 of the Real Gamerscore podcast. This week I'm joined by Stephen.
Howdy.
And Alex.
Hello.
And we're going to spend the next few hours talking about parenting and gaming, just as a little bit of a break in the usual schedule. But first, here's the song of the week.
Oh, well imagine as I'm joining the lobby for a list of achievements, and I can't help but to hear, nor can help to hear an exchanging of words. What a beautiful session, what a beautiful session, says the Hansel to a diva. And yes, for what a shame the poor session leader is a dumbass. I chime in with a haven't you people ever heard of? Checking the achievements first, no, it's much better to face these kinds of things with a sense of poise and rationality. I chime in, haven't you people ever heard of? Checking the achievements first, no, it's much better to face these kinds of things with a sense of...
I know what song it is.
Stephen, any guesses?
I know what
song
it is.
Firstly, I'm just going to apologise to the audience. I've been having that many issues with Audacity today. I was basically singing without trying to get it to peak. And obviously we don't have Matt on this week, so my singing's a little less practiced than other hosts of this show.
I know the song. I can sing it in my head. I have no idea who sings it.
Can you think of the artist?
I honestly know the song and I've heard it on the radio. I just have no idea who it is or whatever.
So, fact that Matt's not on this week, I have the opportunity to pick songs of, that are in my lifetime and not outside of it.
Whack. That would be Panic at the Disco. It's got a weird name, is it?
Yep.
I write sins, not tragedies. Is that
Yes,
right?
That's it.
Yeah. Their song names are just weird.
I mean, a lot of bands signed by Fueled by Ramen are pretty long names. Like Fall Out Boy's got a whole bunch of them.
Oh, yeah, Fall Out Boy, yeah. I mean, thanks for the memories and Sugar We're Going Down Swinging. They're ones that actually are related to the song, but everything else seems kind of weird.
I can think of a lot
wasn't
of
it
the long
Thanks for the
songs.
Memories?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The song?
What?
Yeah.
Today's song? No.
Today's
song
it's
was
I Write Sins, Not Tragedies.
I chimed in. Haven't you people ever heard of?
Yeah, that song.
Yeah.
Okay, alright, whatever.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I don't think we've done Panic at Disco before, so I thought it would be a good one.
We should inform the listeners as well. Our first choice for song of the week was Sandstorm by Darude.
I mean, look, it could have come up on a future episode. I mean, like, how are we going to fit gaming into it? I don't know, but it's just going to be like... That would be an interesting one. I'll let Matt work out the logistics of that.
Sounds good.
Yeah.
Alright. Just, if you want to hear that, just let Matt know. Just send him a message to Rude Sandstorm. No other context, just send him a message.
Oh, let's be
Anyway.
clear, Matt doesn't give a shit, so...
Alright, so if you're tuning in, you've probably already guessed that I am joined by Alex and Stephen this week. Thought we would break up the mold a bit, give Matt a little bit of a vacation, or just lock him in the back room.
Hey, I didn't time up, that was you. I told you that was wrong, dude.
You're the one who gave me the rope.
You asked for it. I just do what I'm told.
Yeah, so by extension, you're already part of the
You're an
the
accomplice.
crime scene. Yeah, you're an accomplice. That's the word I was looking for. Anyway, moving along. We'll quickly go through the housekeeping. Discord. We have a Discord server, which is discord.io/realgamerscore. You can jump in, come join us there, and pretty much discuss all things gaming and non-gaming related. Quick bit about the Discord this week, Alex. What have you found? Put you on the spot.
Wow, yeah, you really did put me on the spot. We had some funny memes about the Suez Canal being blocked by that ship.
That's got to be the best meme of last month.
That was funny. What are you doing, Step Excavator? I don't know. That was fun. But we talked a lot about. We have a serious channel. We talked a lot about stuff in there about cancelling, political correctness, and we also, we talked about video games, which will be no surprise to anyone. But yeah, you can come in, join, have a chat with us about whatever you like. Pretty much, we're all pretty much in there all the time. If you need us, you can just ping us. But yeah, you can find someone pretty much day or night, no matter what your time zone is.
100%. Moving along, Patreon. You can support us on Patreon, patreon.com/realgamerscore. You can, if you dare so choose to, give us your hard-earned cash, and we can pretty much put it back into the show, keeping the lights on, making sure people like Steven get new equipment.
Why am I put on the spot?
You had those Arctis 9Xs before I did.
Hey, I told you where to buy them from.
I got a tax deduction for them, so I'm happy.
Yeah, we can chat.
Mine are definitely getting claimed this year, like with Skype and the whole, moving to online learning and hybrid, all that sort of crap. I'm definitely claiming these bad boys.
So yeah, definitely join the Discord and Patreon, because then we can tell you all your tax saving tips for June. Because that's exactly the type of
This is
podcast
not financial advice. Please consult.
If you're working from home and you bought headphones and you made one phone call on them, bam, tax deduction.
Exactly it. That's exactly how the accountants work it out.
And you've still got until the 30th of June to make that phone call, so...
I mean, if you want to prepare yourself, just do one phone call a month. Anyway, also a quick shout out to, I think it's Makobi, which is one of our new patrons as well.
Probably should have checked that if they're giving you their hard-earned cash, but hey, who might have talked about
I can't pronounce names. We've already
We're great
established
at pronouncing names here. Well, how do you spell P-R-O... how do you
how do you spell
P-R-O-U-L-X? Prolux, isn't it? Prolux? Oh, okay. You've learned since.
I was going to say, things have changed in the last 50 to 75 episodes around here.
Yes, they have.
Alright, cool. And pretty much going on to our number one competition, the Real Gamerscore Word Challenge. Last week, our number one clue was female protagonist. This week, we have a new clue, which is the number 41. So if you're not aware of the Real Gamerscore Word Challenge, basically we give you a clue every week. The prize pool will go up by $10, and we have a channel on Discord where you can type the answer, and it will basically give you a GIF to say that you've won.
Yeah, if you get it right.
And
don't put multiple answers in the same message, because the bot isn't smart enough to read it. Just do one guess at a time.
Yeah, people are still putting multiple ones, and I keep looking at that going, I'm going to snipe it one day just to be that guy.
Yeah. Well, I saw J Black typed in something, lollipop chainsaw with a Y.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
No, that was me. So he typed in the correct spelling of lollipop chainsaw. And I went after.
You might be tripping. I typed in the correct spelling of it after J Black spelled it incorrectly.
It was definitely Alex, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I was there. I think I know what happened.
Okay. Anyway. Alright, moving along. We're not going to go heavy on news this week, pretty much, because I want to center this podcast pretty much just discussing us as parents and how gaming is involved in our life. Just as a little bit of breaking the usual mold of the news articles as of late. Saying that, I will mention one quick news article that we had this week, which was Game Pass Cloud Gaming getting backwards compatible titles. So, did you guys hear about this week?
Yeah, I heard about this. I haven't been much into the cloud gaming. I actually got into the Australian beta for it.
Yep.
And at the time, I had a Galaxy S8. and I've now got a Galaxy S21. It sounds like there's been
look at this
13
guy.
models.
So how
in
many?
between.
Yeah, I was gonna say, what's the year gap between that? Like 2 years, and then like 13 different models, or
Nah, like
Probably around 3-4.
I got the 8 a year or two after it came out.
yeah, okay.
And I had it for, it was either 3 or 4 years, but it stopped working. This is why I got the headphones, Steve. I got a new phone, and the damn thing doesn't have a headphone jack, so I can't use these headphones I'm wearing with my phone.
Yeah.
I had to buy a set of Bluetooth headphones.
Ain't that a bunch of bullshit? I freaking hate that. And they're not even including chargers anymore, which is just like a double whammy.
Oh yeah, it included a cable, I think.
Yeah.
That was it.
But no
they're not-
physical charger.
Samsung's not including the chargers as well.
Yeah.
Not the bit that plugs into the power point.
Oh, jeez.
Just the cable.
Yeah.
And no headphones with it. No, I mean...
They're stooging
the
us.
Galaxy Buds or whatever they're called, I think they're about 150, $200. But so I guess I understand why they don't include it. But I've had a Galaxy 1, 3, 5, and 8, and I've got so many headphones with jacks on them that I just don't use.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, we've got a bit off track there. So
look, phones have changed quite a bit. Like, I had a Samsung Note, and they included the setting fire to itself feature for free.
the hand grenade auto mod, yeah.
Anyway, so yeah, pretty much the Xbox team's announced that as of the 31st of March, Xbox Game Pass Ultimate members can start up 16 Xbox and Xbox 360 games on Android devices through Xbox Cloud Gaming, with more games coming on the way. Some of the titles that are included are a lot of the rare and Bethesda stuff and some Microsoft first-party stuff. So you got Banjo-Kazooie, Banjo-Tooie, Double Dragon Neon, Fable 2, Fallout New Vegas, Gears 2, Free and Judgment, Jetpack Refueled Cameo, Perfect Dark Zero, The Elder Scrolls 3 and 4, and Viva Pinata Trouble in Paradise.
It's not for me. I'm at home a lot because I'm working at home still. Well, people have gone back to the office, but our office had a fire in January. So I've been able to work from home for a bit longer.
Yeah, nice cover, Alex. That was nice.
Yeah. Don't check the cameras.
Yeah.
Don't check the cameras, my work. No. There was a sushi shop underneath us that never cleaned their grease trap, and it got a fire from their roof into our floor. And then from our floor into our roof, and ruined our air conditioner as well. So,
nice.
It's been bad. But yeah, I would like to try the cloud gaming, but I guess being at home a lot, why am I going to hop on the cloud when I've got my Xbox there? I just haven't got to it yet, I think.
I tried the beta of the Xbox One games and that, but I haven't really... I haven't had a chance to try the Xbox 360 stuff yet. I'm just wondering... Does this emulate a 360 onto your phone and then from that play the game, or does this emulate the game directly?
That's outside my pay scale.
Well, the whole way...
You know none of us work at Microsoft, right?
Yeah. But I
don't know who you think you're interviewing here, but it is not the people that you think you are.
I mean, I'm just interested to try this out, though, because whether this is a direct... game cloud streaming to you, or if this is a emulation that it contains the game as part of it and then is streaming, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I tried cloud gaming, when was it, last year, more or less just to test it, and I think I would have put in around 20 or so hours, like pure, like on 4G, going through it, and I had sort of mixed results. So Forza Horizon 4 was unplayable on 4G. Just the lag just meant like you hit every tree, miss every corner, like it was just terrible.
Do you normally race like that, just so for comparison purposes?
Yeah, no. Like I actually try to stay on the road, generally speaking, both in real life and in the game. But I also played a fair amount because I found it surprisingly really good. Ace Combat 7. I did pretty much... there were 2 achievements in that for playing 50 games in one sort of multiplayer lobby and another 50 games in another, and I pretty much played, I'd argue, around 70, 80 of those matches on 4G, and it was crisp as shit. So I was really, really happy with that result, but Forza Horizon I didn't. Single players were okay, but pretty much anything multiplayer online that needed like Twitch, forget about it. But having said that, that was during the beta. They may have improved over time. I would have happily played some more. But again, just like Alex, it was the sort of thing where I'm like, I took it as more of a novelty sort of thing, but most of my free time is at home at 8 o'clock. Sitting on the couch sort of thing. So if I'm doing that, there's no point doing it.
So you wouldn't bust this out of work on a lunch break? Half an hour?
Generally don't want to get fired as a general rule, but I mean,
I just from my own experiences, like the stuff that you said, like Forza, I could not play myself on it without having issues. Where this excels is those turn-based games, I find. Like I was playing, I think Slay the Spire at one point on it.
Great.
And like just those turn-based decisions, that's where I was finding, you're still dealing with the input lag, but it doesn't matter at that stage.
I think that's where it has a big place if you're into those, the turn-based ones, or something that's not, like you said, not quite as serious. Like if you're going to play Gears of War, forget about it.
I have played Halo MCC on it before though, and I didn't really have any issues there.
Did you play campaign or multiplayer?
Played multiplayer.
Really?
Yeah.
That's surprising.
So that's what's interesting at the same time, but saying that, found that it's mostly good for the turn-based.
Yeah, speaking of Halo, but not to derail the whole subject, Cameron, you still need to play that with me.
Moving along.
I remember that.
Okay, I'm gonna make a new server on the Discord. That's basically what games Cameron has promised to play with me, and then Alex and you can pretty much put all your grievances in that Discord, and then I'll mute that channel.
Well, if it makes you happy, I deleted Bloody Zombies from my Xbox.
Okay.
Because
it doesn't make me
I know
happy.
you're not coming back to that. And I tried to beat, I think it was level 9. I just couldn't beat it. I played so well, I just could not beat it by myself. So
Bloody Zombies was the one that we ran into issues with the train, yeah?
The train is not easy, but yeah.
I mean, like train glitching on us though, and making
it
it
yeah. Well, you got it was that one.
Yeah. Okay. Cool.
All right. What else is happening?
All right. So moving on from the news, pretty much this week I got used to one because I wanted to have more of a discussion around basically parenting and gaming, and just to break up the mix from our usual podcast topics, and pretty much just, I guess, explore what it is to be like a parent gaming, and I guess the difficulties around that, and how you circumvent those struggles. Does it affect your achievement hunting? Does it affect just what type of content you play? And then going along from that. So I put a few questions in here, just as more so as discussion topics, and then I had a few statements as well, just to see what your opinions are, and just to, I guess, have a healthy debate.
Well, I think it might be helpful for the listeners that maybe don't know us as well as we know each other to kind of describe what our parenting and children's situation is at the moment. I guess to go on from that, I have a daughter. Her name is Rory. She's 7.5 months old now. Obviously still lives with us and everything like that. She's going through teething at the moment. Interestingly, she got her bottom 2 in the middle teeth first.
Oh, really?
And now she's getting her top teeth, but not in the middle. So the teeth one to the side of the middle, like vampire fangs.
Alright,
The middle teeth are nowhere to be seen.
What was your experience with teeth with kids? Because Persephone's 2 centered top ones came in first, I'm pretty sure.
I'll be honest, I don't remember the order. I just know. I just remember that he was a late starter in terms of the teeth, but he got all of them in the space of about 3 months. Like, it was 3 months of hell, and then it was he just had a full set of teeth, and I was just like, all right, I mean, pros and cons, but I'll take it, sort of thing. I forgot how much money we spent on Bonjela. It was unreal.
Yeah.
But yeah,
we've been using I think it's called Dramadol or something. It's like a Panadol for children, but apparently it tastes better than Panadol, which is, just leading her into the drugs early.
Yeah. Everything's a gateway nowadays, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So what's your situation with kids then, Steve?
So I have two. I have a boy who's 7 months, and I just got my other one who's 4 months from about a week ago, and so very much still a baby, and keeping us up at night and screaming, crying, doing its usual baby things, which has been fun when you're like working full time. So I'm living off energy drinks and coming home and doing all that sort of stuff. So if anyone's listening who's a medical practitioner that wants to know the effect of long-term energy drink usage, right here.
What about you, Cameron?
I guess my situation, people that are familiar with me know that I have a daughter. Her name's Persephone. She's named after a Greek goddess. She's just recently turned 2 last month. Me and my ex-partner have a shared parenting agreement, so I get her pretty much on weekends most of the time. And yeah, having a shared custody agreement kind of allows me to game during the week, but then pretty much make her the center of my attention on the weekends.
So I guess it's fair to say we've got 3 kind of very different situations between the 3 of us, which hopefully should make for a robust discussion.
Essentially. So, I guess going into this, I've put down a list of questions, and we can go out of order, or we can do it how you guys want to do, or go off topic a little bit. But I basically centered this into 2 categories. One being around time, and then one being around content. So when I talk about time, I talk about pretty much us as parents, our number one resource is time, yeah? Because you're essentially thrown in the deep end. You have, like, from birth, this small child that you have to take care of, that you need to make sure that they reach, adulthood. That's all your responsibility, yeah? So,
I would argue happy, healthy, well-rounded, educated, all that sort of stuff.
That's a different discussion.
Taking them to adulthood, if that's your benchmark, go nuts. You do you, buddy.
Yeah. I want Rory to become an adult someday, but I also don't want her to be a complete fucking banana. So, I mean...
You know what I mean.
I think you've shot yourself in the foot.
No, it's all good. We all have different benchmarks. We just found yours. It's all good. This is part of the discussion.
Alright. Without getting into the topic, you know what I mean. But yeah. So pretty much going off on a weekly or I guess a daily benchmark, how much time do you guys put into your gaming?
Well, at the moment, our arrangement is like I'll finish work at about 5, depending on how much work I've got to do. At the moment, things are real busy at work, so I might not get off till 5:30 or 6. So we sit down, we eat dinner, we bath Rory, put her to sleep, feed her, put her to sleep kind of thing. So maybe around 7, usually around 7:30 most nights, I'm kind of free to do what I want to do. And most of the time, I will hop on a video game, but I'll sometimes watch some Netflix with my wife. Sometimes her sister comes over and they'll watch one of their shows on one of the streaming services. But if I hop on at say 7:30, I might play for maybe 2 hours, 2.5 hours. I usually try and wind up by 10. Like I said, working at home, I don't have to get up super early to get to work, but I still get up at 7:30, 8 o'clock to make sure I make it on time. So I might play for 2.5 hours. But I find everyone that remembers when I was on the podcast every week, I've been trying to get my installed games list down, trying to finish games, not really buying games unless I can finish them quickly, At the moment, I have 18 games installed on my Xbox Series X.
Good work.
2 of those I have on there for just to help Cameron and Adrian. And I also have Rocket League and Minecraft, which I'll leave on there because, well, I play Rocket League. I'm in shock. And Minecraft for when they drop new achievements. So I've really got 14 games on there to kind of work on. And I have maybe 1 or 2 on my 360. I just turned to look at my whiteboard. On weekends, it's a bit different. Varies widely. I go to dog school on Saturday morning, most Saturday mornings. And
is that rough?
That's you're barking up the wrong tree with that kind of content, mate. No, I love dog school, mate. Dogs. It sounds weird, but going to dog school, man, it's the best. Seeing all the other dogs there and their owners, and training them. Like we've been going there for nearly 5 years. We don't go there so that she learns new stuff. We go there because she sees her dog friends, and it's something fun for the dog to do, and make sure we get out of the house with her on a regular basis, because I'm sure it'll be boring as hell staying in the house all the time. But yeah, Nicole might go somewhere with the baby. I get up on Sunday mornings and I look after the baby. So yeah, it can vary wildly on a weekend basis, but I can usually still get in some solid sessions.
Yeah, nice.
Steven, yourself?
Yeah, I mean, pretty much the same sort of scenario. I can normally be online from about 7:15 to 7:30. I actually generally do work though most nights. So I'll do work from about 7:30 to about 9 o'clock most nights. Sometimes longer depending what's going on. 9 o'clock's my general F off. I need some time to myself sort of thing. I'll hop on, I'll play a game till about 10:30, 10:45 at the moment. And the arrangement that we've got just to survive is, my wife will go to bed pretty much at, 7:30 at night because she's shattered looking after a 4-month-old by herself. And, then, I'm at work and, different arrangements there. So she's doing most of the cooking nowadays. So, trying to juggle that, a kid, and yeah, it gets rough. So she's in bed by 7:30. I'll do the 10:30, 10:45 feed. So just a pre-done bottle sort of thing, and give it that, hold the baby for 20 minutes, burp it, do all that sort of jazz. So, that will, by the time, once I've fed him, it's around 11 normally, and I've sort of got him in a pretty good routine where I sort of just hold him up and sort of get the controller down and do like a little pterodactyl sort of hold there, and normally I hop on Rocket League at that stage because that's the sort of thing that I can move my thumbs. I'm not too worried about that sort of stuff. Play a few games of that. Oh man,
I could not play Rocket League with Rory on my lap, man. I couldn't.
Yeah, no, not at that age. You definitely can't. But yeah, and then so I'll get to bed around 11:30, and most nights my firstborn will normally run in around 6:30, and jump on me, do all that sort of stuff, and time to get up. So we sort of lay in bed and do our father-son bonding in the morning, which is nice. Like, it's kind of cute. Like, he sits there and asks me, Daddy, what are we doing today? And okay, well, you're going here, I'm going here, or it's a weekend, so we're doing this. So yeah, on average, I'm getting about an hour to an hour and a half every night, which ain't too bad. I'd say with 2 kids and a full-time job. Weekends, same as Alex, it varies for whatever, so family, obviously being European background, if there's a commitment, you're going.
Twisted arm there.
But yeah, so I mean, I generally aim for about an hour, hour and a half just for my own sanity, just as a wind down. But yeah, I mean, having kids is hard. Having said that as well, like I was never a huge achievement hunter. I think I got a decent score. Nothing like you two, but I think I got a decent score. I'm going alright, but I'm having fun.
What is your score at the moment for the listeners at home?
That is a fantastic question. That shows you just how much I don't care, right? It's over 100k. I know that much.
So no, that's still pretty good.
Yeah. Hang on. Wait. It's actually 233,580 Gamerscore.
Okay.
And the true achievement is pretty much double that.
So pretty much just gaming getting the achievements at the moment, but not keeping track of the score, pretty much.
Yeah, nah. I mean, I've never been one for baby games unless there's like that Microsoft 10k points, $10 thing, and I'm a cheap bastard, and I'll go.
And you just use a profile.
And I will get all the baby games that I can get my hands on and just go through that because I'm a cheap bastard. But yeah. Anyway,
I redeemed my points. I redeemed 105,000 points
holy
last
shit.
week for three-month ultimate cards.
Nice.
Because my one runs out this month. I think it was this month. Yeah.
You can have a baby in that time, Alex. Let's go.
That's what my wife keeps telling me. I'm like, nah, number one was enough. So, just to kind of put things in perspective before Cameron, you go on.
Yeah.
At 1 month, I was looking up vasectomies because there was a real bad night, and I knew it wasn't easy going early, which it never is. Presumably, I haven't been there before, but I knew it was going to be bad. I didn't kind of really get how bad it was. It was 3 a.m. She had not slept. And at that age, you can't give them Panadol, you can't give them anything.
Yeah.
It's too young. And it was 3 a.m. and I'm like, I remember turning to I'll remember this for a long time. I turned to my wife and said, I don't care what you say, I'm not fucking going through this again. A vasectomy, actually, not that expensive. It's about $600. So, in case you're wondering. But, yeah, there was some rough times at the moment with these two top teeth. Just waking up maybe 3, 4, 5 times a night. I'm tired all the time. I think that's being a parent. I think that's the next 20 years for me, isn't it?
I think that's every parent's superpower. Just it's like the Hulk. What's your secret? Oh, I'm always tired.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I mean, you sort of like at the age. So my firstborn's 3.5. I am absolutely loving that age. Like people keep telling me it gets better. I don't know how. Like I think it's the best age at the moment. Like he's super sweet. He's got his own personality. Like like we're very much raise our children to be sort of independent. Like it's hard, but like I had a great moment the other day at Woolies where we went into the front, and he's like, "Oh, I want to go to aisle 3." I'm like, "No, I need to buy fruit." And he's like, "I want to go to aisle 3." We're going to go buy some fruit. He's like, "Okay, I'm going." I'm like, "All right, buddy, see ya." So he goes.
Aisle 3 is the confectionery, right?
No, that's aisle 1. He just I think he just picked a random number. So anyway, so I go down the fruit. I'm like not worried about him, but thinking, what's he doing? All that sort of stuff. He comes running about a minute later. He's like, "I'm here, Daddy." I'm like, "Okay, cool." And he's like, "I'm gonna go down aisle whatever he said, 4." And I'm like, "Okay, can we finish buying the fruit?" No, I'll be back in a minute. So he ping, off he goes again. I'm like, all right. And there's this sort of woman there that's sort of looking at me and all that sort of stuff. And 2 minutes go past, and I'm towards the end, and she's sort of hovering around me, and then he comes back with this big jar of Vegemite. He's like, "Daddy, we need to buy this," and I'm like, "No, we've already got some at home." He's like, "No, we're running low." I'm like, "No, that was the last time we shopped. Like, we've already bought it. Can you put it back on the shelf?" He's like, "Okay," ping, off he goes again, and the lady's there going, "Wow, he's pretty good." And I was just like, "Yeah, he's not bad. Like, he's pretty good." And she's like, "Oh, how old is he?" And I'm like, "Oh, just 3.5." And sort of her jaw fell to the floor. And I'm like, it's okay. Like, you can trust them. Like, they want to be independent. They want to do their thing. And he just went off, and I was just like, I don't know where he is. I went and got my cold, the cold meats. 2-3 minutes go past, and I'm like, probably should go find my son at this stage. So I'm walking down the aisles, and eventually find him, and there he is, and he's talking to a plate that had Bluey on it, and I'm like, oh hey, hey.
How good is Bluey actually?
Yeah, he's really
I love
into
Bluey
it now, which is good. He was really into his Peppa Pig, but I sort of tried to steer him away because Peppa Pig's a little
nah.
shit sometimes.
Can I just quick 2-minute rant about Bluey? Yeah, I can't think of the last time I've ever seen a show that paints both the parents in a positive light, like, you know, is educational, that kind of stuff. You watch Peppa Pig, the dad's an idiot.
Yeah, that's one thing that, you know, I don't want to get too political, but one thing that has annoyed me about TV and ads especially, it's not as bad now, but I remember being a kid growing up and into my teens, if there was an ad and they needed someone to be a dumbass, 100% of the time it was the man. It was like, oh, I can't go to the shops and do the shopping by myself, and
like,
yeah,
Nikita,
you can.
Nikita talks.
It always annoyed me that.
Nikita talks about, like, especially around like the media part of it, step parenting, like being the stepmother and all that is always, for the most part, painted in a negative light. When it's like such a incredible thing that a person can love a child as much as a biological parent, in my opinion. Like, and raise them as their own. And it's just disappointing. Like, I went out the other day trying to find a book that kind of had, like, shared families and that kind of thing, just to show Persephone growing up that, you know, it's okay to potentially have mum have a girlfriend, or have just dad by himself, or have dad with stepmum, or, you know, etc. But there's really not a lot of books out there that cater for that, unfortunately.
Well, just on kind of related to that, why don't you fill everyone in on your situation? Did you already do that? I'm tired.
Yeah, no, he did.
Oh, yeah, I did.
Right.
I'll go into my, like, how much time do you spend in gaming. So
yeah, that's what I meant. Just edit that last 10 seconds.
Sure. So with my gaming, I guess I'm currently unemployed, but when I was working, it's pretty much a case of get home 5:30. I'd usually spend half an hour on just to talk to, like, Valak, who was on last week, and the other Americans, because they might be... Sorry, Valak's not Americans, but he's usually in a party with Americans, I should say. And I'll just get a quick, like, half an hour chatting to them just to socialise, go have tea, spend, like, an hour and a half in Nikita, and then pretty much spend 7:30 to, I want to say, like, 10:30, pretty much gaming, or whatever I feel like. Pretty much, if I have Persephone, it's in Swan Hill at my parents' at the moment, so I don't usually game during the day with her. Sometimes I might have the console there and I'll chuck on something like... I remember when she was only a few months old, I had Forza on and had her on in my lap because just the bright colours and all that kind of stuff, she just paid attention to that. And even, like, recently, I was playing Dirt 5 there for, like, probably 15-20 minutes, and she was just looking at the bright colour of it all and passed her a controller and, you know, getting her involved in that aspect. For the most part, though, if I have her with me, I don't really game. We spend time, like, going to the park, feeding the ducks, that kind of stuff. She's, you know, 2 years old now. She's at that point of everything's why. Or everything's, everything's, like, learning words and that. And it's just, like you were saying before, Stephen, just around that age, I reckon it's just the best time, because it's like, they're not a teenager yet. They're not going to talk back. They're questioning
they will.
stuff.
Give it 6 months.
They'll talk back, yeah, but, like, I mean, it's not at that stage yet. But it's pretty much just like, why? It's all educational kind of stuff. And it's all it's all the fun stuff. Like, we go and feed the ducks, and just her, like, saying duck, quack, and just being adorable. Like, that's the kind of stuff I
watched Mighty Ducks today, actually.
Great film.
Wrong
Good
bit.
choice.
Yeah, great film.
I haven't seen
It is raw. There are
Mighty
some...
Ducks.
You know, one of the things we talked about in the serious chat was about, like, old shows and their racism. At one point in the show, this was 1992, right? So when Mighty Ducks came out, they go to the face-off, I think it's called, in ice hockey, and there's a white kid on the other team, and from the Ducks, a white kid comes up, and he's got two dark-skinned kids either side of him, approaching the huddle, and he goes, "What is this? The Oreo line or something?" And I'm like, a white kid between two black kids, that's an Oreo. I'm like, that's... Oh, I don't know about that, getting through now. Yeah. It kind of toes that line. Anyway, that's just a little side note.
Yeah, having said that though, being a high school teacher, that sort of talk between kids, I would argue is standard. But yeah, having it publicised and on a, film cinemas, like the full release, yeah, probably a bit of an issue.
And it's a Disney film too, yeah?
I think we watched it on Disney Plus, yeah.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah, I think that's where I watched it too.
Jeez.
But having said that, yes, you're right, it is still a great film.
Yeah. Alright. Moving along and trying to think how to segue from that. What do you believe would be a healthy amount of time to game daily or weekly based on your parenting style?
Oh, if I had the money, all the hours.
Yeah, 100%. If I win Fats Lotto.
Like, would we say, do you think what we're doing now is a healthy amount of time to game daily, based on our parenting commitments, or do you think
I think what I'm doing is pretty fine. I think the thing to kind of keep in mind is if you're gaming instead of doing other things.
Correct.
Like maybe, spending time with your wife, with your kids, or preparing, helping prepare, formula bottles, or, making sure the bag's packed because they're going to the zoo tomorrow. That's a problem. I'm not perfect. I can't say what I do right now is 100% perfect for our situation, but I think it's pretty good. The other thing is, I know that when you talk about gaming, there's always a lot of concerns about us being fat and in our basements and all that kind of stuff. I'm already a little bit overweight. I am 6'5" nearly, so I
damn dude.
don't think I'm that. I think the BMI index as you get taller gets shitter because I'm technically obese. But when if you were to look at me, you wouldn't go, "Oh, Alex is obese." But according to the BMI indicator, I am. But yeah, I am definitely overweight. But I try and make a point of Monday night is indoor cricket, and I also try and go and have a run. Ideally, I'd like to go 2 other times a week, but at the moment, I'm just kind of getting back into it after Rory was born. So maybe once a week outside of indoor cricket.
Saying that at the same time too, we've just come out of COVID. I used to play indoor soccer every Monday, and I just haven't felt comfortable going back to that since the whole COVID situation.
Yeah, well, I guess in Victoria, we had our last listed case, active case, come off last week. So, according to the tests, there's no one around with corona, which, I think you're foolish to think there's actually no one in Victoria with it, but the risks are very low, I think, at the moment. And for me, I'm okay with that. We're not allowed to, lick your fingers and rub the ball. That's, that kind of stuff that'll strictly get you.
Hey, what you do in the bedroom is up to you, dude. Whatevs.
No, that's fine. That's fine. Don't worry about that.
Okay.
That's fine. But yeah, you can't do that kind of stuff. But I think what I'm doing is okay now. But I also think you've got to make sure to get out, get exercising, and doing that kind of stuff. Because I don't want. This is going to go on to a question later, but I would like my daughter to get into gaming, but I don't want all of her free time to be on an Xbox, because that, that's too much.
Yeah. Moves into... Sorry, you go.
Yeah, no, I was just going to say same thing. Healthy really is anything that, as long as you're not negatively affecting your kid, your wife, or your work, I would argue anything is healthy. What we're doing at the moment, if anything, the only thing I sometimes find is I'm burning my own candle on both ends, where I need that time to wind down, like especially if I've been working a lot. But I also know that the following day I'm going to be dead tired. So like if anything, if I was going to argue if anything's unhealthy, it's probably on me at this point in time. Having said that though, like you do get tired. Like today, my wife woke me up and I was, face planted on the floor, on the matted floor, with my son playing around me. And she's like, "You alright?" And I was just like, "Yeah." I'm like, a wave of tide just hit me, and I just, fell asleep, face down on the floor, sort of thing. But I mean, you have those moments, you sort of pick yourself up and whatever. He was happy, but I mean, you do your best you can. I feel that's you can only do your best, and no one can ask for more than that. So yeah, I feel like I'm doing my best. I feel like I'm doing all right, but
yeah, I'd say the exact same thing. How do you balance that family time and gaming time? Do we think we covered that enough, or?
Yeah, I pretty much only game once the wife is in bed and, the kids are taken care of, work's taken care of, and then, that's my gaming time.
Yeah, same.
Obviously
I don't get my daughter during the day because I'm working. I still will pop my head out, and it's kind of funny because, obviously she loves Nicole, but when I walk into a room sometimes she'll be like, "I heard Daddy's voice," and she turns and she's like, gives me a big smile like, "Oh, there's Dad," kind of thing. So a lot of the time between when I finish work and between when we have dinner, I will often take Rory, and we'll play together, and we'll play the flying baby where I just lift her up and she loves it, and tickle her belly, a lot of standard kid stuff, but she loves it. Sometimes though, like I don't, like I might go for a run, and I might not see her until we get home from the run, because like I said, I've got to try and not be obese. Yeah, but I think you're right, for the most part I think we've kind of covered that off.
I don't think I've got much to add. Pretty much my family time is pretty much just like me and Nikita will have dinner together, just talk, maybe watch some YouTube and that, and then she'll pretty much go and exercise, and I'll just jump on Xbox. But
your ex is in Xbox, is in exercise.
Look, my exercise is purely like on the weekend, running around my daughter. Like, pretty much, she's at the stage that, like once the kids start walking, they're basically running. And just getting like a soccer ball, like a footy and that kind of stuff, and just it's so hard trying to teach a 2-year-old. All right, this ball goes on the ground, we kick it with our feet, and she'll watch. And she's like, all right, gets the idea for like half a minute, and then picks it up and carries it away. And it's like, all right, we'll get there.
Yeah, they're always building skills, so whatever. Just let them do it.
It's fun.
Yeah.
Have you guys ever had an all-nighter gaming session since becoming a parent?
Hell no.
No. But having said that, I do have a session at 4 a.m. tomorrow.
See, I wouldn't say the all-nighter, but like the early morning achievement hunting ones, I'm still guilty of that.
Nope.
What's the thing? Being in Australia, all the sessions are between midnight and 7 a.m., 8 a.m.
I've tried to create sessions on TA, and I might get like one person if I need like 4.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's hard.
Unless it's a real popular game or something, you just can't find them.
Yeah.
Which I guess is why it's good we have, our Discord. You can find someone.
Yeah, just don't do it with Cameron.
Someone.
Yeah, I was going to say, just message me and
overloaded.
I'll have the game. I've got 260 games to my right there in physical discs, and no time to play any of them. So it's fun.
Yeah.
We were here too. Has shown up on my crab list 3 or 4 times. So
we'll get it done.
Yeah.
I was ready to start it the other day, and you're the one who wanted
it.
it.
Will not get done.
Oh, no, I finished. I was playing Doom. Anyway,
we'll do it Monday.
Later.
Easter Monday. We've both got a public holiday. We'll do it Monday.
I promise you
maybe
it
do
won't
it tomorrow.
happen.
Cool.
I promise you it won't happen.
It won't happen this weekend. I'm away. Anyway, so Tarragon put a question in staff chat. Do you regret having kids because it's taken away so much of your gaming time?
Definitely not.
It's so funny. I regret that having a child means I don't get to play as much video games. But no, I don't regret having Rory at all. I wasn't really that keen on kids. But everyone says, things change when you have one of your own, and I still think that's bullshit. But
it gets easier as they get older. I reckon the first 6 months are hell. The first 6 months are absolute hell. And this is coming from a guy who wants a tribe.
Yeah.
Like, just putting it out there. Like, if I was a $50 million man or whatever, like, 12. Like, just...
no,
man. No way.
Let's go for gold.
I'm calling it a 2, and that's it.
But, yeah, no, it's hard. So from a guy who loves kids and loves the idea of a family and all that sort of stuff, the first 6 months are absolute hell. And anyone who tells you different is either drinking or delirious.
Or honestly, just not there for their kid.
I think.
No, I mean they are.
I'm about to slightly.
Having said that, there are mums that do enjoy it and all that sort of stuff. But personally, I think the first 6 months are absolute hell, and no one can convince me otherwise.
I would agree with you as a father, because pretty much I think during that, I'd make more an argument to 4 months maybe, but you'll get to that stage where that personality starts to shine through. The first few months, there's none of that.
Yeah,
it's just
it's all
crap,
growth.
Sleep. Yeah.
I mean, there's still a lot of those 3 things, that's for sure.
But I mean, you get to that point though, and then they start to get that personality, and they start to, can interact a bit more and play and get more of a reaction. That's when it starts getting a lot funner. I think now, just in that toddler stage, sure, there might be times when they can be an absolute pain in the butt, because they won't listen to reason because they're 2. But for the most part, I really do enjoy it, so...
I know 25-year-olds that can't listen to reason.
Hey, I'm 27.
Yeah.
I wasn't specifically talking about you, but also I'll see you online tomorrow, okay? Thanks.
I told you I can't. Alright, so I think we've covered enough about the time-based questions. I want to get into the content. I want to know pretty much stuff like, do your children or does your child impact you, what you play now, or are you mindful that in the future you might need to change your gaming habits, more similar to the rating system, just so they're not seeing you decapitate somebody's head in Mortal Kombat?
Yeah. I think one of the things that, in terms of content, I'm nervous when I play Rocket League.
Yeah.
Sometimes I get pretty heated. And actually, it got to the point where at our wedding, Nicole said to me in the wedding speech, she's like, one thing I would like to do is snap Alex's Rocket League disc. and I started laughing. I mean, obviously that's pretty funny, but also Rocket League's free to play and it's digital, so if you want to snap the disc that I've got, I don't care, it doesn't matter, I've still got it on the Xbox. But I, at times, like with any video game, but it's relevant to me for Rocket League, you get some absolute bellends on your team. And you're like, we're in Platinum 3 or Diamond 1 here. It's like, how did you get to this rank? Because what are you doing? And sometimes when that happens, a lot of time we go, alright, you know what, I'm pretty forgiving. If you make a mistake, if you say sorry, I'm like, cool, no problem. There's a no problem, quick chat. If you don't say sorry, that's also fine too. I don't need to be pandered to. But if you're a brain dead idiot for the whole game, a lot of time I'll be like, alright, cool, maybe they were just having a bad game, or maybe they just finished their ranking games and they got too high. But sometimes I get pissed off. And I'll, probably words that I don't think we're allowed to say on the podcast, where I'll be like, you beep and beep beep. And I don't really want my daughter to be like that. So I in the last probably 6 months, I have turned that right down. You know, she's in bed anyway, but I kind of want to start the habit now that I'm not going to be dropping the C-bomb a lot. You know, this is Australia, but I also don't want her walking around and, you know, mimicking me, because that's what kids do.
So I've got a question based off that then. Let's just say in the next few years, let's say, I'm just trying to think what's a good age. Say she's at an age, though, that she starts playing games and becoming independent on her own and that kind of stuff. Would you play Rocket League with her?
Not competitive mode.
I knew that was going to be the answer.
Probably not even casual mode, though, because the problem would be casual mode is kind of based off your skill as well. So if she comes in and she's playing Rocket League, she's going to get destroyed at Platinum or Diamond, whatever it thinks I am. I would maybe play some private matches with her.
Yeah.
So maybe it's just me and her, or maybe some bots as well. Like, yeah, sure. I have another friend who wants to get into gaming, but his wife is resisting. He comes over and we play Rocket League together, and you know, we just play against the bots, and you know, I try not to ball hog it. You know, give him a chance to hit the ball around as well. But yeah, I do think about what I'm playing, and I think for now it's fine. You know, I can play whatever I want, but I won't be playing Gears of War while she's in the room.
Well, that's what I was thinking, because you play like Gears, you play Doom, you play...
I won't be playing those games.
Yeah.
I can't remember if Doom is M or MA.
I think it's MA, I'm pretty sure it's MA.
Well, you grab it and you can remind me, but in Australia the M rating is suggested for 15 and older, and MA is supposed to be restricted.
It is R-rated.
Then there's R-rated, which is 18 plus, restricted.
Doom is R-rated.
Doom's R-rated?
Yep. I've got a physical copy.
Oh, okay.
There you go. Makes sense.
If there was a game... I do take into account what the ESRB rating system is. You know, M-rated games, like movies, it's suggested for 15, but it's not, like, mandatory.
Yeah.
So, you know, if she was 13 or 14 and we were going to play something that's M-rated, I would make that assessment based on what's in the game and what her maturity levels are at.
Yeah, I would
probably not an MA and definitely not an R-rated game.
I would say even with like the M-rated MA, and I think anything PG to MA, depending on the emotional maturity and the intellect of the child, I'd base it off that. Like, and I would say that with any form of media, whether it be books, TV, movies, or gaming, because I would want to make sure that they understand what the content is centered around first, if that makes sense. MA would be a bit more of a stretch, but M I would definitely be okay with, depending on the age and depending on that emotional maturity, like I said. Steven, thoughts?
Yeah, it's a really...
I think you've probably got the most valid input here, being a teacher as well.
I would argue my input is the same as anyone else's, but no, I mean, it's a hard one. I know personally for us, like we severely limit our son's screen time, which is probably out of the norm. So, for example, I went to a baptism last weekend. You know, 99% of all the kids were on their phone for 3/4 of the time, and you know, he wasn't on it at all. So I think that's already a little bit different, but that's just...
I'm with you on that, by the way. I'm concerned that everywhere you go, a kid's got an iPad.
Yeah, and like there's enough studies to say, especially at that young age, it's probably not doing them the best. But to me, it's just the fact that, you know, the first 5 years are formative years. You really want them to create that association and bond with you, as opposed to a machine or a screen or with friends or anything like that. Like you want that you want that to be with you and your family and that stuff. So that's something. Luckily, both me and my wife were in agreement of. So we're doing a lot of work in regards to that. And look, it's to us, it's paid dividends. Like I recently, I don't know, it's anywhere between 3 and maybe 5 weeks back, we're at the park, and my son, another couple came down with their kid, and they started running around playing, and I'm like, yep, go for gold, care factor 0 sort of thing. And then they start running off a little bit, and I was like, oh, I'll let that go. Anyway, they're starting to run off a fair amount, and where this park is, there's like a pretty steep sort of drop into like a creek/river sort of thing. And I was just like, oi, come back here. And he sort of looks at me, and the other kids looking at me as well, and he was just like, okay, Daddy, and he comes racing back, and I'm like, fantastic. And the other parents are looking at that going, what is your secret? Like, if we said that, our kid would have told, like, not listened and came back, and I was just like, I don't know. But, I do think, a lot of it's come down to, us just spending that time and just making sure we get that bond early. The first 5 years are huge for a kid. But yeah, so, I mean, that's our sort of philosophy, but so yeah, he's not touching a game controller for at least 5 years. I'd probably argue at that stage we start doing, a bit more TV time first before we start doing the games. Once he's in primary school, high school, obviously things will change. He can, he'll be old enough and, hopefully mature enough to make his own decisions. At that stage, that's sort of the parenting path that we're going down. But yeah, no, I would argue he's not touching a controller till at least 8, 9. So yeah, I guess that's my thoughts.
Based off, okay. Based off that, do you believe in the future you might need to enforce gaming limits on, like, your children yourself? For example, like creating a no gaming in the bedroom policy, or no gaming after dinner, or potentially limiting time. And how do you think you'll go with this being a gamer yourself?
Yeah, so again, I'm taking the parenting style of I'm going to invest huge amounts of hours now so that in the future I hopefully don't have to do as much. So I would argue no. I won't have those rules. I won't have those things once I feel like he's gotten the maturity to understand, to evaluate, to analyze, to self-reflect, all that sort of stuff. And once he has that, then the decisions are up to him. Having said that, look, if he starts going down the wrong path, you better believe I'm shoving him back onto the right one. But I would hope that I wouldn't have to do that at that stage. It would more just be, that I wouldn't be parenting anymore. I'd be sort of like be mentoring at that stage and just having those conversations. So that's the way that we're planning the future and how we're sort of parenting and our style has come from. But that's based off, a lot of conversations, a lot of what ifs, a lot of all that sort of stuff. So we're both on the same page, which is fantastic. But yeah, it's an interesting road. But I mean, I won't talk too much because I'll probably go off on a tangent. But we originally, as what most adults do, I think you raise your kid the way you were raised, and then we were both sort of reflecting on it, going, there might be a better way here. So we both sort of did our research and came back with ideas and whatnot, and we only started that, I'm going to say about 9 months ago. And I can say the difference between the kid that he was and the kid that he is now is massive. Like it was huge. Like, went from a kid that, wouldn't listen, cry, scream, a lot. You still get those moments sort of thing, but now he'll sort of stomp his feet and sort of, be like, naughty Mr. Daddy, and he'll go do what I asked anyway. Just because we do have that sort of bond and relationship, and that sort of sense of grouping within our own family, and so it's worked for us. It probably won't work for everyone. It's been an interesting sort of journey, but I mean, if anyone's interested, hit me up on the Discord or PM. I'm happy to sort of talk about it, but I feel like I've rambled enough, so I'll shut up.
Yeah, I think it will obviously depend on age, but when Rory is old enough, I will be making use of the parental controls, assuming it's an Xbox, maybe a Nintendo, because I've got a Nintendo Switch, but I know they also have some good parental controls, and Xbox does as well. That's one of the things they bought in. I think it was around the Xbox One generation.
Yeah.
There will be limits to screen time in our household. I'm already, when I get up Sunday morning to look after the baby and feed her, I'll put on a show in the background. I'm watching The Last Ship, for anyone that's wondering. But I find when I'm holding her, so obviously I'm holding her towards me, which is away from the TV, but she'll stop feeding and she'll look at the TV and watch it. And I'm like, wait, concentrate on getting your bottle, because then she gets crabby because she's not eating.
Yeah.
I already look at that and I'm like, yeah, the bright colours are interesting, but I am concerned about screen time. Because like I said earlier, I don't want, a child that's always on Xbox, always watching TV. I think having the console turn off at a certain time, which is the same time every weeknight, and maybe limiting the time to a longer period of time on the weekends is what will work for us. But I think we haven't really talked about that kind of thing yet, but I just have it as a thought in the back of my mind. I have no idea what PlayStation is like in that regard, so I can't slate them for it, but I do know that Xbox and Nintendo have the good parental controls, so we'll be using those. I guess it kind of ties into one of your next questions here, but having a daughter, eventually they're probably going to play games online. I'm concerned right now about the way that women and girls are treated, online. I had a session actually a while back. I don't remember what the game was for, but there was a woman in our session, and I just thought, there was part of this stupid brain that was like, oh my god, a woman that plays video games, and I'm like, you girls play video games though, just treated her normal like everyone else in the party. I thought, 10 years ago, more than 10 years ago, when I was a teenager, I would have been like, oh my god, there's a girl that plays video games. And I know that there are a lot of people that are around like that can't control themselves and will harass girls and women because they are girls and women. Which
is ridiculous, because I think at the same time, the statistics now show it's pretty much a 50-50 split.
I have seen those. Yeah. I'm not convinced, but there are definitely a lot of women that play video games. I think a lot of them would be a bit nervous to come on the microphone because they've had terrible experiences.
Yeah.
And I don't love that about gaming. I love gaming, but I mean, geez, there's a lot of things that need to change about gaming in general.
Yeah.
And like I said, having a daughter, I'm concerned about those things.
I think it goes back. I think it goes to the point of having a discussion of, I guess, teaching your children safety around strangers. When I was a kid, it was pretty much always, banged into my head. Do not, accept lollies from strangers. Don't get into a van with a strange person, that kind of stuff. I guess now we live in a day and age where it's just adding that online, component to that, don't talk to anybody that realistically you shouldn't be talking to. But
yeah, I think about that as well, and I haven't investigated Xbox's parental controls all that closely. But what I would like is if you know, say Rory's on her Xbox and she's about 8 or 9 or whatever, and she hops in a party, that I could actually listen remotely, you know, on my phone or on an app or something, that I could listen to who she's talking to and what they're talking about, because I know that there are settings
so much
that
privacy, though.
That's the problem. It all
of
comes
course
down to
it
privacy.
it is. But at the same time, you might have an 8-year-old that gets into a party with someone who's gonna do some bad stuff.
Like, the thing that worries me too is like Roblox and that kind of stuff. Like,
Yeah,
there
Roblox
is the potential
bad for
there.
it.
Yeah. I think with my approach to that's pretty much going to be a case of, though, if you are gaming online, it's going to be like you're going to be in a party with me, because I want to be pretty much playing games with my daughter as like a co-op partner. But then I guess if it's online in that regard, I would be in the party as well. I wouldn't be.
Yeah. And I guess, look, I agree with you, Stephen. Yes, it is a privacy concern. But I think even if you teach, your children the best of principles, there's still the potential that someone's grooming them for something. You know, and that can happen for boys as well. But I guess I would rather have my daughter pissed off with me that she thought I invaded her privacy than she ducks off in the middle of the night to meet some rando from online. You know, I know those are not the two only alternatives, but they're two extremes of one another. Like,
that's the thing, though. It does happen.
I don't want that.
The problem is, though, it does happen. But I was going to go into the point of just, like, I'd much rather have her pissed off, but then have, explaining to your children why it's necessary, like, why online safety is an important thing.
Yeah. That's going to be a really important conversation, not just a singular conversation, I think, because whether they're on Xbox or they're talking to their friends, I mean, I don't know what kids do these days. Online safety is huge.
Yeah.
And, even though I am 6'5" and I reckon I can probably handle myself, I'm still not messing about on parts of the internet that I ought not to be on. Because there are people on there that are a hell of a lot smarter than I am, a hell of a lot more dangerous.
And some that are really unhinged.
Yeah, I mean, you can go on YouTube and listen to all these things, all these horrendous things that have happened. But I think maybe even just telling your kid that you can listen in to their party. I know you can restrict the settings that they can only join like parties with friends.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure that's a setting. So that will probably be okay, but that obviously doesn't stop them adding someone as a friend and then joining the party. So maybe there's some parental controls on that. I'm just not sure how far they go.
Maybe we have a look into it and discuss it on a later podcast. Be interesting to see what kind of parental controls there are, because I haven't really messed around with that stuff myself.
I guess it's one of those things that we probably don't need to know just yet, so we haven't invested the time into looking at it.
I'm sure it'd be good for the listenership, though. Moving on, is there anything else that we want to add to that?
No.
Alright. Move on to something a little bit more positive. Would you be okay if your children adopted your gaming habits?
Playing for fun? Yeah, I hope so.
Yeah.
I mean, Alex, what if Rory became an achievement hunter? How would you feel about that?
I'd be fine with it. I guess if that's what she did, and she came to me one day and went, "Dad, I've got 100,000 Gamerscore, 50,000 Gamerscore." I mean, was that a thunder? My dog has heard something. But she came to me and told her, I mean, I'd be super proud. And then I know that there'd be millions, billions of people around the world who go, who gives a shit? It's a meaningless online number. But I mean, people have been telling us that since we started going for achievements. I think I mean, I think I have a pretty balanced kind of achievement hunting philosophy. I've mentioned on the podcast before, but I will go, depending on how much I like a game, depends on how much effort I'm prepared to put in. Like, I love Dead Island. So if you wanted me to do a 100-hour grind for Dead Island, I wouldn't even think about it. But you asked me to do the same for Gears of War 1. I mean, I really like Gears of War 1, but I'm not going to get the Seriously achievement. It's, you know... I think I'm
glad for Rory, because these are mature aged games that she'll be at the age to decide whether or not she wants to play Dead Island for herself.
Well, she will have, yes, the benefit of having access to my Xbox video game catalog. So, you know, there's probably enough easy games in there to get her 50,000 points without too much trouble. Yeah. I mean, depending on how old she is. But there's also a lot of good games in there that I would like to show her when she's old enough. I have mentioned before, I did sell a copy of Dead Island Riptide on eBay, which was one of the first games in Australia. It wasn't the first, but it was one of the first games to get an R18 rating. Yeah. And this woman came and bought it. You know, obviously she's legal age. She was about 40, and she was buying it for her son. And I was handing it to her, and I looked out at the car, and this kid, I reckon he was 10 at the most.
Yeah.
And it's an R18 game. And I thought, he is not old enough to play that game. But, you know, me going, I'm not going to sell this to you, because I never had to hand it over. I would have copped the negative feedback and refunded her for not giving it to her. At the end of the day, it's not my decision. Yeah. So I'm pretty sure I mentioned to her, I'm like, do you know what this game entails? And she said, yeah, I do. And I'm like, alright. I mean, I think it was a load of shit. But if she knew that you're in there with a katana slicing zombies' heads off, she might have thought a second time about it. Having said that, in your earlier point, you mentioned the ESRB rating system. I think part of I don't know if it's a problem, but there's a cultural phenomenon that kids will just get the games that they want no matter what they're rated. You know, my wife teaches grade prep, and they're talking about playing Grand Theft Auto online.
Yeah. And
playing Call of Duty. And it's like, nah, mate.
See,
even the ones that are not rated R, like, you are not playing that until you're old enough.
I'm torn
It's not cool. I'm
torn with the rating system because I feel like it is broken in a way.
Oh, it is.
It's broken in both regards. Like, we're getting games that could easily fall into an R-rated restriction getting banned because they have drug use and that kind of stuff in them. And then we
Disco Elysium got banned, didn't it? Was that the one that got banned last week?
Well, I'm not sure.
It was drug use.
But that's been
one of the things that raises your health, I think, was called speed.
But it's been on Steam for quite a while, hasn't it? And they were doing a console release soon. Like, it's just... I mean, at that point, like, it doesn't make any sense to me to have it banned if it's an R-rated game on Steam.
Like, I think Tarragon has talked about this on the podcast before, but I think part of the problem is the people that are rating the games might not necessarily be involved with games enough to rate them properly, but I think for the most part, they get it right. My main gripe is, games that... you know, if I'm 18 years old, which if I'm getting a game that's rated R, I should be, probably know that using speed isn't going to raise my health in real life, so you maybe shouldn't be that concerned about it.
Yeah, it raises stat.
But those are the rules.
Right
those are the rules. Yeah, but that's the thing, like, that's the rules. That's the rules. They operate within their own rules. I think the rules maybe need to be tweaked a little bit.
I mean,
but, I said, they get it right for the most part, so... I'm happy to go with what they say.
When we went to PAX in 2019, that panel that we attended where they were talking about that was, like, it really made me wish that they did have, you know, more updated legislation about it, just to, you know, get some of these games through, because, I mean, it just doesn't make sense anymore. Especially in that regard of that Disco Asylum game just being banned post-release.
So it'll probably mean they'll patch out a word, speed, and call it Spud or something, and that's fine. Like, it's crazy.
Stupid. Anything else we want to add to that? I'll just quickly say, like, with Persephone, I would be 100% fine if she adopted achievement hunting. You know, she's okay with the time sync, all that kind of stuff. Just as long as she was a normal functioning human being. You know,
it's all about that balance.
Yeah, teach them about the balance. I would say that sometimes I struggle with that balance myself, but I know as much as a parent that, you know, I need to get that right for my kid.
I think everyone struggles with that balance.
Yeah.
Like Steve said, burning the candle at both ends. I mean, I've done that. You know, I've gone to bed a little bit later. Admittedly, most of the time it's on weekends. I try not to get... I won't go to bed after midnight.
Yeah.
And the baby usually gets up between 7 and 8. So I'm usually okay there. But on a weeknight, 10 o'clock, 10:30 at the latest. And I get up at 7:30. So, you know, I think that I'm pretty good with. But, you know, if it's a Friday night... No, not a Friday night. A Thursday night. So before the last day of the week, might stretch it out to 11.
Yeah.
But... you know, I think that part is mostly fine, and like Stephen said, I'm aware that it's going to be on me the next day if I am cooked. But you know, for the most part, I'm okay with that. I think, like we've said, getting the balance right, is the hardest thing, and I think, like you've just said, Cameron. I mean, I'm 34 now, and I still don't think I have the balance right. I think it's fine, but I wouldn't say it's 100%.
Yeah. I mean, as Rory gets older, you can just adjust and pretty much go from there until it works for you. The last point I was going to make was Freem discussed a few episodes ago about his kids playing Fortnite on his account. Would you set up your kids on a separate account earlier, or would you let them use your account knowing that they may want to take over?
They're getting their own account.
100%.
Fortnite is not touching ProfessorPluto. It is not going anywhere near it. Because if they mistakenly play and save the world and pop one achievement, never Xbox again. Sorry, you're done. I know we had a topic many episodes ago. What's the worst thing that could happen to your gamer tag? That would be up there. I don't know that they would be getting their own Xbox. We would probably have enough in the house.
Battle Royale doesn't have achievements, though. It would just be the Save the World campaign. That'd be fun, yeah.
But what if their friends one day want to go in and they accidentally, pick up 10 planks of wood, bang, 10 Gamerscore? Nah, mate. Nah, 100% getting their own account.
Sorry, Stephen, you want to say something?
No, I'm in the same agreement. So, like Neo, but not as hard as Neo, because Neo is a machine. I have been trying... So, initially, similar to you, Alex, as well, and Neo as well, I sort of, I was looking at my backlog, and, with the second kid, I was just like, I need to stop, buying games, and I was just like, you know what, I'm going to do Neo's challenge. Yeah, I'm like, 2021... I'm not buying crap. I'm going to start running down my games. My goal is under 50.
Hey, that sounds familiar. It took me about 5 years, but I got there. I'm at the stage now where I'm, doing a lot of mop up, whatever. Initially, I wanted my percentage to be 75, and then as I was mopping up, it went to 81. I was like, I reckon if I make a good push, I can, hit 85. I think I'm at 83 or something at the moment. There is no way some kid, also known as Cameron, is going to be going onto my account and then, just be like, oh, I'm just going to be winning an Xbox Series X for most Game Pass things played, and then tanking my ratio and my percentage. Hell no. So yeah, no, they'll get their own account. And they can do whatever they want on that account.
Hey, I've made it back up to 33%. I'm happy.
I think about it, when I got a 360 at release in Australia, which I think was 06, and I played games that 2021 Alex is going, fuck you 2006 Alex, you're a prick.
100%. Dude, I've killer
still
instinct
haven't
on my
finished
tag.
What's that?
I have Killer Instinct on my tag. Like
the one that's got like
We should boost that one
170
time.
achievements or something.
Yeah, I'll add that to the games that you never do. Yeah, sure, no worries. Yeah, Darksiders
You know what?
Genesis.
You know-
Half an
you know-
hour worth of playing, and I'm like, dude, we're about to pop an achievement.
You
Are
completed
sure?
it without me.
Are you sure you want to be doing this with me? You're like, yeah, no worries. Every Friday night we'll hook up, no dramas. I'm like, all right, cool. Let's pop the achievement.
All right.
Never heard from him again. Not once.
I'm just gonna say that I was going through some stuff. I'm no longer going through stuff.
Dude, that wasn't your excuse. You were just like, oh, server closure. I got to play this game. Oh, this guy wants to.
Oh
boost
yeah,
my
it was.
It was not that. It was not. Don't make excuses.
Can I just say, screw server closures. Fuck them all. I can't even get into Gears Pop. Not that I'm going to complete it anyway. It's got like.
Well, you've got like 3 weeks, don't you?
I think it's like 2 days, isn't it?
Oh, I thought it was the 26th of April.
Oh, maybe I'm wrong.
I don't
But
know.
I haven't been able to access it.
I've just learned if you want achievements, do not listen to what Shadow says. Ever.
Look. I play games. I'm working through my backlog at the moment. I'm doing all the COD games.
Oh yeah. Like if you need an achievement that's in your backlog, yeah, you're sweet. If you need an achievement that you need your help, forget about it. That's the general rule.
I have that many games now that I'm sure I can help most people.
Okay.
Whether they get...
No, you don't have time though, mate. You don't have the time.
When you hit
like
Halo
I said, I got rid of
MCC,
bloody zombies.
When you hit Halo MCC, let's see.
Halo MCC is on the list. I will happily make time for that one.
Okay, we'll see.
And all right. If you want to hit me up at the moment, if it's in Game Pass or has been in Game Pass at one stage, and I haven't yet completed my 12 games for the year, if it's anything relating to COD, Halo, or Forza, or Yakuza, but like you're not going to be able to play multiplayer with me there, so tough luck. Hunter Call of the Wild is another good option.
No one plays that game.
Brad plays
Brad
that
does.
game.
No one else plays that game.
Alright, we're running a bit long, so I'm going to just move along and pretty much just go. I've got 4 statements, and I just want to get a quick reaction from both of you just to see how you feel about them. We're just going to like spit through these like quick as though.
Yep.
Number 1, video games make for great babysitters.
Disagree.
100%.
Disagree as well.
Yeah, same as TV.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Number 2, it won't matter if kids play M-rated games from time to time, even that one, quotation marks.
It depends on their age, but I would say if they're 10 or under, no. They won't.
I would say it would be dependent on the emotional maturity and their understanding of the content of the game.
Yeah. If it's just M, which is recommended 15 plus, I would say it's under 10, no. 10 to 15, we'll see what the game is
Would
and the
you,
content and look around it.
Would
If it's
you let
MA, probably not.
Would you let your 15-year-old play an 18-year-old game? Like an R-rated?
Probably not.
I think I would fall into the ballpark of yes, but it would depend on that emotional maturity and that kind of stuff.
It depends as well, because you can get an R18 rating for horrendous violence.
Yeah.
You can get it for sexual content, or you can get it because you have a drug references in your game. And it's like, alright, if they're 15, they probably know that, if you go into Saints Row 1 and smoke weed, and, you get some health back or whatever, alright, cool. If that's the reason you got an R18, that's probably fine.
Yeah.
But it depends on where your kid is at, and it depends on the reason for the rating. I would still probably say unlikely, but maybe 17, maybe.
Yeah,
like I said, we're not going to be slaying demons in Doom Eternal with a chainsaw when they're 15. That's not happening. We're not going to be going around rooting everyone in Mass Effect, because that's all Mass Effect is, right? It's a Rudy simulator.
I mean, it's on my list, so I'll let you know.
I've never played Mass Effect. I'm waiting for the Legendary Edition next year at like $40.
I'm just waiting for somebody just to write in and say, hey, there's much more lore and Deep down. No, mate. You just want to fuck aliens.
That
That's
was
all
the
it is.
controversy. I remember they called Xbox the sex box because of Mass Effect, and it's like, come on, mate. Yeah, like I said, depends. It depends. That's my answer.
Stephen, you want to add anything to that, or pretty much the same boat?
No, like what I said before, after about like 10, we're sort of looking at a mentoring role. If they think that if they know what's in the game, they know what they're going to get into, they feel that they can cope with it, understand what's real, what's not real, all that sort of stuff, I'll let them make that decision. But before 10, 12, probably not. Like it's up until they, like I said, until they get to that stage where they can analyze, self-reflect, do a pro-con list, do all that sort of stuff. Until they get to that stage, like I'll be taking charge of those decisions. Once they've got that, whatever age they've got that at, it's going to be up to them, and I'll only push them again if I find that they're going off on the wrong tangent in life. But so yeah, if they're 15 and they think they can take an R18 game, go for gold, buddy. But I'd want them. Before they start playing it, I'd want to have that conversation and be like, well, what's in the game? What are you expecting? How do you think that's going to make you feel? What do you understand the difference between doing something in GTA and versus real life, things like that. Like, I'd want to have that conversation, make sure that they're all well on board, and if they seem cool, go for gold. I'm not going to hold them back. So slightly different, but yeah.
You understand your L's program is different from my driving in real life on Forza Horizon?
Yeah, exactly. Like, in real life, you can't take a shortcut through the trees. Like, that's generally a no-no.
Sorry, when you say through the trees, do you mean through the tree, or do you mean through the trees?
Yeah,
just for context,
Yeah. So it's going to be different, but yeah. Anyway.
It's kind of funny, actually, now that I think about it. We used to try and sneak into scary movies when we were younger. I don't think I ever succeeded, but I tried to find just then what The Exorcist is rated. And, Exorcist famous for being scariest movie of all time. I watched it and I thought this would be PG by today's standards. Mild supernatural themes or something. I've heard people say the same thing about Paranormal Activity. I think Paranormal Activity might be rated M in Australia, and that's maybe more along the lines of what I thought it would be. I do remember when I was younger, I think still in primary school, I went to my friend's house to sleep over, and I can't remember the movie, but there was a clown in a wheelchair, and they were going down a hill. He was going down a hill, and at the bottom of the hill, he ran into some explosives and blew up. And I called my dad, and he came and take me home because I was so traumatized. And I think about it, and I think maybe I'm misremembering because that was 28 years ago or something like that. It might have been It, the first It film, because I remember there being a clown specifically. But I wouldn't want Rory watching It if she was below the rating, because that is, I think it's an excellent film. The first half of it more so than the second half. But I remember, like I said, there's a lot of stories about when people our age were kids trying to sneak into, whatever at the cinema, which was rated MA or, rated R. And I like to think I turned out pretty okay. And from what I know of you guys, you guys turned out pretty okay. So it's kind of, I guess it's a bit thought-provoking for me there, because maybe I contradict my earlier answer slightly. We're watching Halloween or Nightmare on Elm Street or, something.
Yeah. But I'd argue your dad there had good, like, to me that just sounds like good parenting. Like, you saw something that, distressed you. You felt comfortable enough to call in your dad. Your dad came and picked you up, no dramas, no questions asked, like it's all good buddy sort of thing. Like, that story alone makes me think that, hey, you had a very good upbringing in that sense. Like, there'd be a lot of kids out there who that would happen to, and, they don't have that good relationship, and then, they're calling on mates, or they're doing something all that's stupid, taking their minds off it, all that sort of stuff. Like, to me, that's a good news story. I know you sort of see it as traumatic, but I mean, you called your dad, that was your safe place. He came and got you, no questions asked. Like, you had that support, you had that thing. That to me is what parenting's about. Like, you want them in that moment to be like, hey, I need someone. Who am I going to call? It's not my mate that wants to go get high. It's not, let's go do doughies at the back of Big W car park, or something like. But like, you know what I mean? Like, yeah. So
I was in primary school, so they're probably not ripping bangers in the VP Commodore. But yeah, I worry about that kind of stuff when Rory gets older.
Yeah, but I mean, if you have that good relationship,
next to the right person at school.
Exactly, and if you have that right relationship and she calls you first, that's the parenting win, right? That's what we all want. Like, we want to protect our babies, and we want them to make their decisions and go through life. And when things get hard or distressing, backup teams here, we're always here, sort of thing. Like, that's parenting. Like, that's a win. So, I don't know. I'd argue that's a good news story, but whatever. Let's move on.
Yeah, I do the same. Alright, third topic. Limiting screen time is kind of bull.
I've already said my piece.
Disagree.
I disagree entirely.
I think this one's pretty much just like... I mean, only if it's absolutely necessary. But even then, like, it's going to have to be a stretch. But yeah. Yep, number 4, nothing productive can come from playing video games.
It's the kind of thing that a 50-year-old would tell you that hasn't played video games. I think, yes, there are harmful effects of video games when you, like everything, when you overindulge in them. But I also think that playing video games as a social thing is great. Learning social skills, you're making new friends, provided they're, the same age as you, and actually the same age as you, not just telling you they are. The problem solving...
I'm on the wrong podcast.
You're not that much, younger.
Like I said, you're the youngest, but you are the ugliest, dude.
But I think the problem solving, and whether that is sitting there and working it out for yourself, I think that is a skill in itself. But I also think that a lot of the times at work, I don't know the answer to the question, but I know where to find the answer to the question. And that's like a secondary skill.
Yeah.
I might not know how to do everything on video games, but I know I can often hop onto YouTube or a forum or ask someone in the Discord, how do you bloody do this? Especially if it's something like goddamn Prince of Persia DLC at the moment I'm trying to work on. Actually, I haven't been able to find an answer for that. But I think that there are many, many benefits to playing video games. But again, I would caveat that with you've got to find the balance of between video games and life, and also not overindulging. I mean, people have died playing video games because the new StarCraft expansion comes out and they play it for 48 hours straight, smashing energy drinks, and I mean, come on, man, like that's no good.
Yeah.
Anyway,
look, I'll just do a separate sort of like answering the question, but different sort of thing. Obviously, I disagree. You can get a lot from a video game. Like, personally, I like the idea of, like I'm 37 now. Holy crap. So I'm 37 years old. And, like, obviously a lot of people my age are like, why are you still playing video games sort of thing? And my answer to that is, generally always the same. It's just like, I can watch TV, and I do watch TV. Like, I finished the Mandalorian series, great series. But in general, I prefer crafting my own stories in my own spare time. I'm not a writer, so I can't do that. And that's sort of my outlet in terms of doing that. But in terms of the don't get anything useful, so, I'm sure anyone who's been on the Discord knows. So I'm a teacher, this is my 14th year of teaching. I've always taught in single-sex schools, either being Catholic or private. And one thing I have noticed, having taught both boys and girls as single-sex schools, the boys, when they get on the games and they talk about it the next day, it is very much like what you said, Alex. It is about problem solving. Be like, that boss didn't get me. Like, what do we, we should have done this, we should have done that. Like, how about next time we hit them from this side? Or, it's about that problem solving, coming together as a community. And they're talking about stuff that is, this is a problem for them in their life. And how do we go about solving it as a group, as a collective sort of thing. Having said that, though, teaching at an all-girls school, I found it really interesting. That 50% stat that you said before, at least in the school that I taught at that stage, I would say that's completely false. But the girls, from what I...
For higher? Lower or higher?
Oh, lower. Like, heaps lower.
Okay. Yeah.
Heaps lower.
I thought that's what you meant, but I thought
yeah.
I would just...
No, fair call. Whereas I found and again, this could be just school specific, because I have only taught at one all-girls school, but I found a lot of their time that they spent on their screens at their time was not problem solving, not communicating with your friends. It was more about comparison. So it was, hey, did you see this person's Instagram? Did you see their Snapchat? Did you see what they did there? Their skin's really fantastic. They've got the best bodies, the best things. So obviously, as a teacher, a lot of the stuff that we were doing for the girls was very much, mental resilience and things like that, because of that comparison that they were doing online. Whereas, every boys' school I've taught at, there's no comparison. It's just like, dude, I struggled. Oh, I only got a 2. Oh, you got a 3. Oh, what was your kill death streak? What'd you do? What gun did you use? What attachment? Like, how'd you get that boss? All that sort of... It was more about communicating and problem solving. And I'm sure there's a bit of a stereotype there, so I just want to flag that. But I found that as a big difference in terms of, they don't get nothing out of video games. Like what Alex said, they do get a lot. They get the social, they get the problem solving, and things like that. And it's pretty consistent from my experience. Big asterisks.
One other thing I thought of, you can sit there and you can watch a great story on TV, but I think it takes it up another level when you play through a great experience. You experience it and you connect with the characters on a different level. Like, you're interacting with them, you're talking with them. One of the things I did actually like about Prince of Persia is that they programmed a lot of lines in, so you could talk to the Princess Elika, or whatever her name is. You could talk to her, and they'd have an organic conversation, and you connect with them in a different way. Mass Effect, from what I understand, is the same thing. You're connecting with these characters. You take them through 3 games that you play for 100, 200 hours, whatever. You can't really get that from a TV show. And things that might be comparable to a TV show, a game like BioShock. Not that you would know, Cameron, but the first BioShock game, even the second, and also the third, I mean, that's huge, the narrative that goes across those 3 games. I remember after I finished Alan Wake, which didn't get as hooked into me until the end of the second chapter, the name of Alan's book in the game is Departure. And every day for ages at work, I used to work in accommodation, so I would see in our system arrivals and departures, and every time I saw departures, I thought of Alan Wake for months.
That's not
It's like that. Life is Strange. I mean, I don't need to go on about all these great narratives, but there are narratives that stick with you, and I can't say that I've really got that from a TV show. And I've watched some great TV shows, and I can recall them fondly, but it's not the same.
Yeah, agreed.
Whole deeper level of narrative.
Is BioShock on your list for this year?
No, BioShock isn't. I played BioShock 1 before, but I just... games that I feel like I have to follow a guide to collect stuff, I just don't.
There's a lot of audio diaries, yeah.
I don't.
That is a downside.
I don't like those kind of I like games that the achievements aren't centered around collectibles as much, or if they are centered around collectibles, it's like an open worldish kind of experience, similar to.
Don't play Alan Wake then, because I think there's 100 coffee thermoses that do nothing for you.
Yeah, I think Control is a good example because you can go back and get those kind of collectibles and it doesn't feel strenuous. Like that's a good game of doing collectibles right, but just
Sunset Overdrive actually is. The collectibles are fun to get.
That's fun, yeah. I really enjoy Sunset Overdrive when I'm playing by myself and not with other people.
Yep.
Sorry, what, Steven? Alright, we're running a bit long, but I reckon we should still get into like what games we've been playing this week. Alex, do you want to start off?
Yeah, well, there's only 2 games I really want to mention. I played the DLC for Doom Eternal.
Yep.
Everyone will remember I wasn't too jazzed with Doom Eternal. Wasn't really for me. It's not a bad game. The platforming just really gives me the shits, and the way they put that in with the combat, I don't like it. The DLC introduces new enemies which can only be killed with certain guns. They also, so for one of them, there's a ghost. I don't know what it's called. It's a ghost that possesses the enemy and makes them like 3 times as strong. So if it possesses one of the stronger enemies, you're going to have a bad time. So you kill the enemy, and then it's a ghost for about 15 seconds, and you have to get the plasma rifle and use the alternate fire to kill it Ghostbuster style, like with a plasma beam.
Yeah.
I hate that. I think it's horrendous game design. And that was there was only the one, I think, in the first DLC. In the second DLC, they doubled down, and they made a stone imp, which can only be killed by your regular shotguns.
Oh, jeez.
Constant fire, I don't know what it's called. They had a prowler which can poison you, and you had to get near them and punch them. So hopefully you've got a blood punch stored up. If you haven't, you're going to have a bad time. You have to use a plasma rifle to kill the armor off this dude, and it respawns onto him after about 15-20 seconds. I don't like the game design.
Yeah. I hate...
Especially in a game where you run out of ammo like it is going out of fashion. It doesn't flow for me. Having said that, the boss that you're slated to fight, the story at the end of the first DLC, who the boss is, that you do end up fighting at the end of the second DLC, I think that's sick.
Yeah.
I won't tell you guys what it is. Are you guys going to play it?
I probably will at some point.
Alright, well I won't spoil it. But I think that's sick. I love it. If anyone wants to talk about it on Discord, talk to me about it. So that's the first game. The other one I've been playing is Prince of Persia DLC, so the Epilogue DLC. One of the achievements in that is for getting to the spawning in enemies fast enough that you can kill them before they spawn.
Okay.
And I've played the first part of the DLC, I think about 20 times at this point. Because there's a glitch. I read there's a glitch online. If you save and reload, it makes it impossible to get to the first enemy in time to spawn it. No, in time to kill it before it spawns.
Yeah.
So I've been playing this on backwards compatible on the Series X. I can't get there. I cannot get there fast enough. So I'm like, maybe there's an issue with like frames or something, you know, the up-resing or something. It just messes with the game. So I went back to my 360. I did it 3 times on the 360. I cannot get there in time. I'm watching videos online, and I'm getting there probably 10 to 15 seconds faster than every video I watch, because I've played it so many times at this point.
Yeah.
I cannot get there fast enough to kill these enemies. So I'm pissed off.
Valak would be the best person to answer that. He loves Prince
I have
Persia.
a friend, one of my best friends, Dean, he's got that achievement, and I'm like, how the fuck did you get this? And he's like, I played it on the 360, so that's when I went and tried it on 360. Nah. Mind you, you have to watch a good 2-minute cutscene, then you platform through, you have to fight the first boss, and then it's the room after that.
Yeah.
That you have to get there fast enough through the platforming section. I think I will not be able to get that achievement. I've tried deleting my saves, I've tried deleting my clouds, I think I've tried just about everything I can think of. So if anyone knows what the hell is going wrong, please let me know. but I think it will just remain unearned for me.
Valak, we're calling on you. I know you love Prince of Persia, mate.
I love Prince of Persia, and I'm hopeful that they bring it back. You know, when Microsoft updated their Twitter listing for Prince of Persia, and everyone, you know, I think they did the same for Perfect Dark, and now there's a Perfect Dark game coming out. So I'm hopeful. It's coming.
I mean, the Prince of Persia's getting the remaster.
The Sands of Time, yes, yeah, it is. I think they shanked at the first attempt, and they went back to the drawing board.
Yeah.
But yeah. Anyway, that's all I've been really playing.
Score?
I find, you have no idea. I find a lot of the time I open my games and I look at it and I go, oh, well, I have to play that online. I need Cameron to play this game and this game and this game. I can play Rocket League, but I'll get no achievements. So I look into my wardrobe of games and find nothing to wear. A lot. So I think I'm going to have to start some games to get up to my 95%.
Yep.
So I'm about 55 achievements until 95%.
Nice. 305.
305,
Yep.
Miami. That's the one.
305 Miami.
It's a zip code for Miami.
Stephen?
Yeah, so part of my drilling down the backlog and short of time, I'm trying to focus on only 3 to 5 games at a time. So at the moment I'm just flicking between 3. So I'm very slowly going through Control. Just the OG, not the Ultimate Edition or whatever. I'm having an okay time with it. It's not selling me as much as I think it was hyped, but maybe I'm just not that far into the story.
Have you touched any of the DLC, or are you just going for the main game, or?
No, just going through the main game. I'm not going through the DLC. So yeah, I mean, you know, it's a solid game, but it's not to me, it's like a 7 or 8. It's not a 9 or a 10 that most people sort of pitch it at. I'm going through Torchlight 3. I love my action RPGs. That is an alright action RPG. I'm having fun with it, different builds, whatever. And there's once you get to level 60, there's this little genie thing that you can once you finish the main campaign, there's a little genie thing that you can sort of do. I've been having sort of fun just going through that. No achievements tied to it, but it's been fun because every, I think, 4 levels, it adds another essentially negative effect onto your thing, and it just gets progressively worse and worse, and you just have to keep improving your build and doing all that sort of stuff. So I'm having fun with that. Don't know if I'll get all the achievements because there's a whole bunch of them that are tied to RNG, and I just hate RNG achievements. But I go on most nights, do a run which is 3-4 maps, and then call it a day. If I get something, great. If I don't, whatever. And Assassin's Creed Odyssey, I'm still going through. I think the last time I was on the podcast was late last year, and I was saying, oh yeah, no, I put 40 hours into it. I'm still going through that thing. I actually got bored of not bored of the main game, that's the wrong thing. I just got bored of the setting of the main game, so I actually started the DLC before I finished the main game, which I think that there's probably a listener out there that's calling me a heathen. But I just got bored of the setting, so I started the I forget what the DLC is called, but you essentially go to Elysium, and that was a different setting. That was nice, and now I've started the second chapter of that, I think it was, and I'm now in the underworld, and it's a completely different setting. So gameplay wise, it's more Assassin's Creed, which I love anyway, so whatevs, but just a different setting has done such a fresh air into that game. It does not have to be as long as what it has. I think I'm about 150 hours in, and I would argue I've probably got another 50 hours before I complete it. And it's only a 1.5 ratio, but it's a good game. I enjoy it. I just wish it just wasn't as long, especially for the main campaign. But yeah, so I'm just going on those 3 at the moment. But I'll probably start up the new Games with Gold, which I think is another action RPG. So if anyone's listening, the hardest achievement is hardcore mode going through it, but if you're doing co-op, it unlocks for host only. I'll build a buff out character. If anyone else wants to do the same, and we'll just tag team, as long as your name's not Cameron, I'm happy to do it.
I was going to say, I could happily say that I'm probably the only person in our community that has a physical copy of that game.
Which game is it?
Vikings.
You
mean? Yeah?
Yeah. I'm just trying. It's the.
I'm trying to think of the full name. I've got it here somewhere. I saw it yesterday.
Yeah, I'm trying to find it too.
Oh, my session at 4 a.m. has been cancelled, guys.
That's devastating.
Oh.
Maybe you can sleep in.
I got a message. I've completed the game, but my rented server is still up for another month. Message me around session time. I'll make sure maps are queued up. And some of the microphone is a server admin so they can kick randoms.
Yeah.
That's a long time to have a server up for, anyway.
Yeah.
Oh, damn.
But anyway, yeah, that's what that is. No idea on my Gamerscore. It's probably less than 100 or 200, but whatever.
I've been playing what you like.
Exactly.
Yeah.
What about you, Cameron?
So for me, Pillars of Eternity 2 mod on PC, 2-minute completion.
Interesting conversation in the forums about that game.
And how people
don't know
don't
if you've
agree with
seen
the mod.
it.
I've seen a little bit.
The suggestion is that because you have to go outside of the game to do mods, it's technically against True Achievement's cheater policy. But because the Microsoft and the developer have said this is how you do mods, they've co-signed it as okay.
See, I agree with the second bit. I think if the game, like the whole platform on the PC Xbox thing allows you to install the mod into it like that, I think it's fine.
I think it's fine too. I'm just saying it's an interesting conversation. There's some people that have some very strong views on both sides, admittedly. Actually, there was one guy, Johnny Sinister, who, interestingly enough, has finished Bloody Zombies.
Yep.
Which I don't know how, man. I can't finish that 9th level on normal, and he's finished it on insane. Which, if you die, your campaign's over. It's a no death. Anyway, he's popped in there saying it might be worth updating the cheater policy because all your examples of games are from the 360 era, and we've moved way past that.
Yeah. With
Ratalaika, with mods outside games now that are co-signed. I think it's a fair enough point, but the investigations manager said, no, I think it's okay.
Anyway, at the end of the day, investigation manager's just gonna say, basically just gonna decide what's good for them. Like, me and Adrian had a few
I interrupted you.
No, it's all good. Me and Adrian had quite a few discussions about it in the past. I think there was, like, something to get Halo 2 on the PC working that I think is perfectly fine, but yeah, the investigations manager doesn't agree with, so I won't touch it. Anyway. Advanced Warfare, I kind of talked about most of it last week, but it's basically running map through Havoc DLC and just doing some more stuff for myself, trying to get everything done other than the Easter eggs so Adrian can carry us through. I mean, like, I'm sure if I could get Matt training a zombie, I could learn it myself, but it's just easier just to get him, just to get Adrian to help us with it. If he remembers the steps up by heart. I'll probably have to learn to do some of the Easter eggs myself, though, for World War II, which will be fun, because I think they're the most difficult ones out of all the COD games, from what I've heard. But yeah. Dirt 5 DLC, I did when it came out this week. Doesn't really add much to the game. I think I spent $30 on it. Them being 2 packs, I think one's like 15 and one's just below 15. But it's basically go through, get the stamps, drive in a car for 30 miles, pretty easy stuff.
I saw someone had finished it. I think they finished it and just said, this sucks for DLC. For what was an average game, I was hoping for more from this DLC.
I mean, like, it's just... I'm trying to think back to the DLC on Dirt 3, and I imagine it was a lot better than this. I'm pretty sure the DLC for Dirt 3 was also for charity, so the money raised from that actually went to a charity. Yeah, but it's very, just adds more of the same rather than introducing anything new. Except there is basically a collect tags kind of game type, which you just got to do in a time trial kind of scenario. That's the only real new thing. But yeah. Guitar Hero and Dance Dance Revolution. So my good friend Alex here made me aware of, what was it? The Dance Dance mats going available for $60 in Melbourne. So I made a date.
Did you get the 360 as well?
I got the 360 as well. I've got it set up behind me, so I've got 360s now.
I've got 2, and I've got Tarragon's Japanese one, so I guess I've technically got 3 in my house.
But I've gone through and tested everything. The Dance Dance mats work, which I am so happy about because all I could find them for was like 180 to 200 on eBay each, and to get both of them for $60 with an Xbox was a steal.
Should have hit you up for a $50 finder's fee, mate.
Yeah, but like, I'm sure if I actually seen you on Monday, I would have got you some donuts or something.
The only thing I'll add to the conversation about the Dance Dance mats is I knew someone that had them. I think it was a PlayStation 1.
Yep.
Could be wrong about that, but I remember playing a racing game using the dance mat. So I would sit on the X button and use my hands to press the left and the right, so it's permanent bloody accelerating. Didn't go so well in the race, as you would imagine.
Yeah, no.
I'm trying to think. I tested out all those 3 controllers, though. 3 of them didn't work.
What controllers?
So with that Xbox 360, so
Yeah.
it was $60, Xbox 360, 3 controllers, 9 games, yeah? And 2 of them being the Dance Dance mats included.
Yeah.
Dance Dance mats worked fine. I haven't really tested the 360 games because it's kind of just like additional stuff. Took some of the doubles out. I'm going to give one of the consoles I bought to my sister as a birthday present / Christmas present, etc. With it, I tested 3 of the controllers. The 2 white ones don't work, and then the black one does work. And they're all pretty grotty, so I gave them a bit of a clean up, but the 2 white ones don't work, so I'm just like, whatever, I'll see what I'm going to do with them. 360 works fine though, 250 gig model. Still can't believe it was that cheap. Same time, I found because I wanted to make the trip worth it, we went to a shop out in Coburg called Round Again, which deals with antique like record players and that kind of stuff. But
antique video game consoles. I thought that's what you were going to say.
No. So their front of the shop is all antique record players, all that kind of stuff. Their back room is completely old retro stuff. So I took Nikita there. I just said, look, we'll get $100 worth of games, whatever. So she got like Mario Kart for the Wii, a whole bunch of PS2 games that would be missing. Because we're pretty much in a stage now that we want to get the older games that we grew up playing. So when Persephone's like a little bit more mature, she can play those with us and kind of experience what we played as kids.
I hope you don't want to get Mario Party 3.
Why is that?
You made of money?
Oh, some of these stuff like I found a copy of Conker's Bad Fur Day, and jeez.
Last I checked, that was going for about 350, I think, in a box. I don't know, who knows what they are now. But yeah, Mario Party 3, I think, is a little bit less dear than Conker. Oh, I forgot about Conker. Castlevania, the Castlevania Nintendo 64 game is very expensive, and I think they had a StarCraft on Nintendo 64.
Yeah, I believe so as well.
Yeah.
When I went into this shop, though, I was talking to the owner there, and yeah, like really nice guy. And I'm just like, hey, do you have a GameCube? GameCube is like one of my favorite consoles before I got into Xbox. Just because you had like Luigi's Mansion, you had Pikmin. What else was there? Like, there's so many great games for that console. But everybody I knew had like a PS2 and all that, so it's like nobody really got to experience it. Burnout, like the original, I think it was Burnout Takedown actually, was on there, and that was great. But I was just like, oh, you got a GameCube? And he's like, I do, but technically I have to keep my items a certain amount of weeks before we can resell them on. I'm like, alright, fair enough. And just like, do you have an online presence? No, you'll have to come back, unfortunately. I'm like, damn it.
What is that for?
Apparently, it's just like one of the conditions that the government puts on it.
Or maybe in case things are stolen. Because
yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
Yeah.
I went to like 3 or 4 different cash converters, getting old 360 games that were missing out of my collection for a few dollars each. Met some really nice people there. Said if I bought any online through the websites that related to their store, if it was over like 5 or 10 games, that they would just chuck in free postage for me, which was nice. Came across... It's funny because I saw it the night before, a legitimate MIDI guitar for Rock Band 3, and I managed to score one of them for $120. But the real massive thing I found was a complete Guitar Hero Band in a box set for $100 with an Xbox 360, one of the white 60 gig models, a few games, and a boxed Guitar Hero 3 as well. So I went...
Man, that was the day.
That...
The Guitar Hero 3 guitar was shit house, but that game was great.
Oh, so... Fun thing I learnt from that, whilst I was testing everything, the connector on the neck between the body of the Guitar Hero 3, I think it's a Les Paul guitar, that is notorious. Like, I started playing Guitar Hero 3 and I'm like, I'm missing like every fourth or fifth note.
It was
like,
the
what's
blue
going
button on mine. It was the blue one, and it was maybe 1 in 20, 1 in 30.
Yeah.
You'd press it and it wouldn't register.
So what I did was I got a piece of cardboard, probably like 2 to 3 centimeters across, folded that over, put it in between where the neck and the body connects, kind of just nudge it in there, and then it fixed it completely.
What we did, it didn't fix it 100%, but it made it a million times better, is we got the strap for that, and we tied, there's a nozzle that you would connect it to on the lower part of the neck, and there was, I think, something on the body, and I wrapped it around so tight that it was like pulling the neck down onto the body. But Tarragon was talking about it in Discord the other day. He's saying there was something easy you could do to make them better, because they were notoriously
just that connection between
wearing out. Yeah, the connection.
And it's only, I think by the time World Tour released, they had fixed it, but it just seems like it's the Guitar Hero 3 controllers. But yeah,
I just used the Guitar Hero 2 one that I had, and that was, I mean, the whammy bar broke, so it would always like flop down.
Yeah.
But the guitar worked fine. It never missed a note. It was wired though, so there was that. But
I used to love the wired one when I had it originally, but it was just me. But yeah, went through the band in a box kit. Everything was amazing. Set up the drum kit. Get to the very end of it. I look in the battery compartment.
Oh yes.
The battery compartment. The batteries have been left in there, corroded to all hell. Alright, this is a quick PSA. Do not leave batteries in things because they corrode over time.
I thought that was common sense.
It's so easy to do. Like, if you just chuck something in storage, you don't even think about it. But then you pull it out and go to use and go, oh yeah, batteries corrode, of course they do.
But like the guitars though, pulled them out, everything was amazing. The microphone works. The Dance Dance Revolutions mats that I got from previous sales, they all work. Except for the white controllers, which I was like, alright, cool, I've already got controllers, that's no biggie. But just the drum kit, which is the biggest find, everything else of it is in immaculate condition, except for the yellow drum, what do you want to call it?
Symbol?
The symbol, yeah. The yellow
symbol, isn't it?
Has like a bit like of a mark, like where it's been just struck really hard. But everything else is fine. Like, everything else is just a little bit dusty. Could use a bit of a clean, and then it's 100% fine.
Did it come with a kick pedal?
Yeah, it's got a kick pedal.
Kick pedals?
I need to test if the kick pedal for that actually works for the Rock Band one, though. Because I've got a Rock Band set that is complete, minus the kick pedal, for 360 as well, so give that a bit of a try. But I was amazed how well that worked. Amazed the 360... Except for the fact that I took it all the way home, forgot that the 360 original models needed a network adapter. I at that point had come across 4 or 5 during that day at cash converters all around again. So I'm like, this is the console that goes to my sister. I'll keep the 250 gig model, she can have the 60 gig. It's fine.
Tell her she'll get lower ping if she plugs in the Ethernet cable. And it actually will work.
I'd say Ethernet cable, and she would have no idea what I'm on about. So that's fun. Anyway, so yeah, it was fun to test out some of that stuff though. I started playing a bit of Outriders yesterday. Really good game. It's a really good solo game because you can't play it with anybody else. No, but there's just that many multiplayer issues at the moment.
Is it meant to be multiplayer?
Yeah, it's multiplayer. I joined two. I think it was German and American yesterday, and it was unplayable. Like really nice blokes. I think we talked for like half an hour, and they were going on a real conversation, like real nice guys, but a real serious conversation about race and that. But yeah, it was just wouldn't want to work for me. And the only other thing I've been playing is Splinter Cell Conviction, because there was the article that came out the other day about Ubisoft titles, the older legacy titles, getting online discontinued, which was going to include Assassin's Creed 2, Far Cry 2, Splinter Cell Conviction, is it Might and Magic, and I think 3 other titles. So I jumped on Splinter Cell Conviction, not knowing that these were only the PC titles. So they're not getting discontinued yet, which is great. But, boy, Splinter Cell Conviction is good. Especially if you're rushing through everything like me. Because there is half the missions in the game that absolutely penalize you for getting caught in front of the camera, anything like that.
It wouldn't be because you're trying to run too far ahead. And
no, of course not. I never have that for games.
That's not how you play.
No, but the missions that you can basically just run ahead and do it, you don't get penalized. Love very quick missions for me. I essentially will take out a few guys and then pretty much go into a corner of the map or something, lead everybody to me and just take them out one by one. And then just walk through the rest of the way, which is pretty easy. There's other missions where, I guess, the start of the third echelon where you have to essentially plant C4 into 2 parts of the building before you can progress. But if you get seen by anybody, it's an automatic restart, which sucks. I did the co-op campaign Realistic with Keo, which is also fun, until we got to the point that... actually, there's 2 things I want to say about this. We got to one point today where frames got to the point of 2 frames per second, which we were like near the end, so we were trying to get to the next part of it and just couldn't do it. So we quit out, and that fixed it, thank God. There's parts of it where we got to the last bit of the mission and it will just crash out because they can't have a multiplayer connection. Like it just didn't work. There's parts where we got to a part where we were trying to run through and get past the enemies to get to the very end, and for whatever reason, when we planted the EMP, it then decided to completely stop us from running. So we did like a slow walk to escape on this airplane to get out of there, and it was just the most stupidest thing. So yeah, great game, but a lot of glitches, which is disappointing, but I guess it's a Ubisoft title.
Yeah, it's a bit like that. They're getting that rep now instead of Bethesda.
Yeah.
Well, I guess as well as Bethesda probably is.
Pretty much,
more
yeah.
accurate.
I gotta say though, there was a part last night when me and Kay were playing, and it's probably the hardest mission in the game. There's like this massive laser grid before you go around a corner, and then you jump the desk rather than going in the metal detector, so you avoid getting caught and take out this guy. I'm just like Keo, just like, alright, I'm just gonna absolutely just run through. If we get caught, I'm just gonna continue on, and it'll be fine, yeah?
Sounds like you're running ahead.
I run ahead run ahead through the laser grid, didn't trip a single thing. And it was just one of those points where you had to be there to see it, but it was absolutely amazing. I was so happy because I didn't even have you press up on the D-pad and it shows you where the lights are and everything, but nothing came up. I didn't have it set up to show the laser grid. Run through, Kia's like, nah, fuck off. Like, no way you just did that. I'm just like, I just did that. I don't know how. And then pure adrenaline just carried the rest of the mission, but yeah. Good week, 3,000 Gamerscore. There's a few other things I've kind of like dived during that time because it's me. Played Narita, I think it's Narita Boy, which got added to Game Pass this week.
That was on Game Pass, yeah.
Platformer, cyberpunky kind of style. Looks really interesting. Want to get back to it, but I decided it's just one of those games that I'll probably play as a Game Pass kind of like on the weekend. You know, when I don't have Percy overnight, just play it at my parents' kind of thing. But yeah. Alright. We are running a bit long, so we'll just quickly go through the questions, but...
Dude, you just rambled for like 30 minutes.
I think you mean like I just rambled for like 2.5 hours, but anyway.
Got him.
Oh, God. Whatever. Isaac wrote in, hey guys, Microsoft is still giving away 4 games a month with Games Gold, but what you get with Game Pass Ultimate seems seems way more appealing. Sure, I'll pick up the games for my collection, but I'm already playing games on Game Pass and probably won't play the free stuff unless it's easy points. Do you guys pick up the free games every month? And the better question, do you actually play them? Are you excited about any of the games on offer for April? I'll go first. I tend to pick up the games most of the time unless I accidentally forget. Just because, I mean, free games are free games. I don't have any plans to stop subscribing to Game Pass Ultimate, so I may as well get them to add to the collection. The only thing I'm really interested in this month is the truck sim, just as something a little bit different. It's not really... Like, Game Pass Ultimate's pretty much the best still in gaming, in my opinion. I'll usually play everything there first. Only because we really haven't had a few good titles in a while, but there is the odd occasional stuff in Games Gold that I do enjoy, and the stuff that, you know, Game Pass I treat as a service to dive games to experience something different. I think, like, this truck sim might be one of them, because I don't have anything in my collection that's like that. What about you guys?
I usually pick them up if I remember. I'm generally not interested in the games. I don't think the narrative out there that the games that they put in Game Pass are shit. I don't think that's the case, because I think a lot of people have worked quite hard on these games. I just don't think they're known as well. I think the narrative comes from comparing to what PlayStation are putting in their PS Plus titles. They've got Maneater. I think they've had Bugsnax, which was one of their...
Maneater was back in Jan. Days Gone.
Yeah, Days Gone.
Is
like,
the new
they've
one.
had big titles. That's my point. Titles that people know, and you go, wow, you know, they put that in. I can't believe it. That's huge. I don't think there's been a title... The last title I can think of like that was Bioshock Infinite, and I reckon that was about 3 years ago. I don't know if it's fair that they're trying to put lesser known games in to push people towards Game Pass, but maybe. I don't know.
I'm just glad as a service that we get free games. Like, I mean...
Yeah, it's hard to say the games are shit when they're free. It's like you didn't pay nothing for them. Why are you complaining? But, yes, they're probably not as well known as the games that are going in PlayStation Plus.
Steven?
Yeah, I'd agree. I think that's where most of the, the hate towards the game with gold sort of happens. Having said that, though, like, I remember when I first got my Xbox, so, like, 2016 or whatever it was, I would pick up every single one and play all of them. I hate myself now for it, but that's what I used to do. And nowadays, especially with the, 2 kids, full-time job, the lack of time, I am a lot more selective. Like, I might pick up the 1 or 2, but it's picking it up in the hope that one day I find the time to play it. So, I mean, looking at this month, I know I'm only going to pick up the action RPG, the Viking one, and that's it. Like, I'm not going to download anything else because I probably won't play it. I'm not interested in it. So, it's changed over time. But having said that, I think the counter argument to PlayStation gets all the best games, that's because their version of Game Pass is terrible, and Xbox Game Pass is kicking all the goals, and that's where Microsoft is trying to push her. So, like, whatever, cough up the $11 for the console Game Pass and shut your mouth.
So, do you want to know how shit the console wars are getting on Twitter? So as I normally am, I'm your local Twitter console war correspondent. Not that I try and get into them, but I see it because I follow people that like Xbox. They were talking about, I think it was Outriders loading times, or it might have been a different game, but Xbox Series, both consoles, loaded in, it was about 4.8 seconds, and the PlayStation loaded in about 4.3 seconds. And they were all going, oh, the PlayStation is faster. It's like, you can load into that game 1,000 times, and it's like, what are you going to do with your extra 30 fucking seconds of your life, you absolute bellend?
Can I say the amount of games that loading screens that game has, though, it would probably build up over time. Because it's like cutscene.
What are you going to do with your extra 4 minutes of your life, after you've... Anyway,
get a coffee.
My point is, it's dumb. It also goes back the other way. I know they were testing Outriders on the PlayStation and the Xbox, and they were looking at the frames. So, Xbox Series was a steady 119 to 120 frames, and PlayStation was 113. Oh, but look how good the Xbox is! Like, shut up, man! Like,
I think at the end of the day,
people in their 30s and 40s that are retweeting it and razzing all their fans. Like, nah, man, you're an idiot.
At the end of the day, all it comes down to: do you enjoy the game? Is it working for you? Yeah. Nothing else should matter.
My eyes can see the difference in the 7 frames. Can see it. Can definitely.
I mean,
see it.
look,
Yeah,
I can tell the difference when I drop down to 2 frames in Splinter Cell. But
yeah.
Give me enough frames that I can deal with it. There. Alright, the last question I've got is Mephisto for the win. I have a question for the next show. With Cameron mentioning Achievement Fest a couple of episodes back, I was wondering, could a co-Australian New Zealand Achievement Fest work, and who would be the best to organise a thing like this?
Not Cameron.
I don't know who the best person is to organise that. Can it happen? I mean, yes, it can. Not for a while, until the coronavirus situation is under control. But assuming that is under control, yeah, it definitely could happen. It would be a hell of a lot of organising, and I would not want to do it. I would hazard a guess that it would probably be in Melbourne. Maybe
I think Melbourne would be the smartest
Sydney.
decision because, like, I'm Bendigo, you and Tarragon in Melbourne. Like,
yeah, I mean Melbourne's pretty easy to get to, but you've got, like, Stephen. I think you're from New South Wales, if I remember correctly.
Yeah.
There's a lot of people around. Brad's from Adelaide. Sorry, I'm just doxing everyone left, right, and centre. But we've got big states in Australia.
Kiku is New
Sure.
Sorry,
I mean,
Alex's phone number is 04.
We've got a few of us here in Melbourne, but I mean, maybe not enough to say, yeah, it should be held here. But with Achievement Fest in the US, people fly in from sometimes all around the world to go to it. So the location, I guess, is kind of less... it's not so relevant. It's probably more relevant than in the US, but it's not so relevant because you can get anywhere in Australia pretty easy.
I think the event itself is the main importance there, and, like, I've taken a little bit of it on myself just to kind of investigate what would go into running it. I wasn't involved in it. Sorry, I was involved in it in a competitive stage when RGL, which is the Regional Gamers League, ran out of Mildura. And they kind of, like, I've sent a few messages and waiting to hear back from them in regards to it because it basically went from 2012 to, like, 2014, 2015 and then died down into nothing. because some of the guys that run that would probably be the best indicators to know, because they're running like events that were having like 50 to 100 spectators, and I think we're not going to achieve 50, but I mean, depending on who wants to come, like I imagine 20 wouldn't be out of the realm of possibility for Australia.
I think if I remember the story of Achievement Fest correctly, it started small, which most things do, and grew over time where, you know, people talked about it on sites like True Achievements, and probably mainly True Achievements. You know, it would start at 10 or 20 people, and, you know, we wouldn't be doing this to make money. Obviously.
No, I imagine
it would go over time. You know, you might get 50 or 100 people. You know, I'm just going to quickly click over on True Achievements to the Australian leaderboard while you guys talk more about.
Like, I think it's definitely in the realm of possibility. Sorry,
like
Steve.
That's right. I was just going to say, going back to the first thing, like, I'm a parent. I'm not going to leave my wife with, you know, a 4-month-old or, you know, 6-month-old potentially at that stage, and a almost 4-year-old by herself. So, that ain't gonna happen for me. I'd love to be able to go, but I mean, family comes before gaming. So, great idea, but I'm out.
I imagine we could run something for people that can't physically be there in person though as well.
I think there are people that go to Achievement Fest that bring their families as well. Just clicking over onto True Achievements, there are 4,821 on the Australian leaderboard for True Achievement and Gamerscore. So, doubtful that all 4,821 are going to turn up, but you know, there's potential there. Yeah. Not quite the same potential as somewhere in the US, which would have tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands, probably. But
I think we can. I think we could get something working in our neck of the woods, and like I've set the channel up in the Discord now. So if there's anybody that is interested in it, just go to the very top of that page and just click the tick react on my post. So I've got a rough idea of numbers. Like, surely if we do run something like this, it's not going to happen until the end of the year, or at least the last quarter of the year. And like Alex was saying, I'm sure we could get something to work, like, depending on numbers, we might just get like an Airbnb, something like that. Or, depending on if there's enough demand there, we could rent off like a small like hall or something like that. Like, I'm pretty sure when RGL they run it out of the basketball stadium that was attached to the Catholic school there.
I'll leave it to you, dude.
It's either going to be a massive success or it's not going to be. But yeah, like I was saying though, like, it would be nice for people that can't attend to, that have parenting responsibilities or work, or that we could honestly get stuff working in terms of having like a Twitch stream or that. But at the end of the day, it's pretty much just going to be the whole thing about Achievement Fest is you come, you get to meet the people behind the gamer tag, get to play some of the games, unlock the achievements that have been giving you a hassle.
Why don't you ask the people that organise Achievement Fest?
Who physically organises it? That's the question.
I don't remember who does, but I would ask Redemption Denied, because I'm pretty sure he's been numerous times. I think Kushmoose has been. I am not sure. It's been a while since I've heard the names mentioned, but a lot of the big names, if they listed who went, you'd recognise a hell of a lot of the names. But I'd start with them and just see what they have to say. I'm pretty sure, I'm about 99% sure Redemption Denied has been multiple times.
Yeah. Anything else we want to add?
No. Let's wrap it up.
Bedtime.
Wrap it up. Yeah, some people are way past their bedtime. See the black eyes under Stevens.
Oh. Hey.
Man, that's
he's falling asleep with us.
Here, man.
Can't you see him macro sleeping?
Rory slept through the night last night, and I was pretty happy about that. It's the first time in about 3 weeks.
Nice.
That was good.
Nice,
We'll wrap it up.
solid.
Email, if you have any questions for us, you can get us at hello@realgamescore.com. You can get us at the Twitter at realgamerscore.com, which I manage. I do a great job.
Our Twitter is not at realgamerscore.com.
It's at symbol.
It's at realgamerscore.
Oh, that's okay. At realgamerscore, sorry. Discord, you can catch us at discord.io/realgamerscore.
One job.
I got most of it right, it's fine.
There's people going to Twitter right now typing in realgamerscore.com going, why isn't this
There's
working?
people probably just messaging Matt before the episode releases, just like, Cameron's already burning it.
He's writing, the people that are messaging Matt are saying, Darude Sandstorm, also, why can't I find realgamerscore.com on Twitter? And Matt is going to be like, Cameron!
That's fun. And yeah, if you want to support us on Patreon, you can get us at patreon.com/realgamescore. You can write in questions to the show, and we will endeavour to answer them in the next episode. Also, if you're interested in being on the show, please contact either myself or Matt on TA or Discord and send a sample of your audio and tell me what your equipment is. Alex, where can we find you?
You can find me on Twitter, True Achievements, Xbox, ProfessorPluto. I don't really go on Twitch anymore, but you could go there and follow me, ProfessorPluto1, but I don't know why you would.
Stephen?
Just get me on either Xbox, FDOS84, or on Discord.
Oh yeah, I'm in Discord too, I forgot about that one. Also, ProfessorPluto.
Right, and you can catch me on Twitter under Real Game Score, on Facebook under the the Xbox Achievement Community, or on TA Discord and Xbox under Shadowless Edge.
Someone was selling my horse and me too in the Xbox Achievement Community. I liked it because I'm like, yeah, sick.
Yeah.
And he messaged me and he's like, do you want to buy it? I'm like, nah, mate, I've done that years ago, but I just like
I'm pretty sure I deleted that post because I have a thing against sales posts.
Oh, really?
It's not a buy, swap, sell group. That's the whole point. You can do swaps. I'm fine with that. But buying and selling is against...
He wanted to swap his game for my cash money.
This has been episode 129. We'll catch you next week where we have another host that is more experienced than me. Cool. Peace, guys.
Bye, everyone.
Alright, catches.